Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. We ain't got no time to waste. Let's go. You are now listening to Jason Anderson, and you are in the zone.
And they bring it back around, and they toss it to him. It's Rice cutting through, and he's in the end zone for a touchdown. Keep that one. Mahomes down the middle, and he's got him. Hollywood for the touchdown. Can they pick up what would be only the third first down of the game? Smith.
Chris Jones.
Jones has got him at the 31. He looks left, throws left, and it is caught by Rice for his second touchdown of the game. By the way, you saw Worthy shaken up on the sideline as Pacheco races. Oh, we got a flag in the end zone, but it's a touchdown for the moment by Pacheco during the preseason, and he fumbles the snap. It's a fumble, and it's recovered by Kansas City.
All right, a Monday edition of The Zone right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. A victory Monday for the Kansas City Chiefs as they not only win, they dominate the Las Vegas Raiders in what was an incredibly enjoyable, party-worthy, celebration, anxiety-deprived 3 quarters of football for the Chiefs, because 4 quarters doesn't matter. They didn't need to play in the fourth quarter. Patrick Mahomes, for the second time this year, did not play in the fourth quarter of a game in which they completely dominated that opponent. Baltimore Ravens, he didn't play in the fourth quarter. Gardner Minshew got in there. And yesterday against the Raiders, did not play in the fourth quarter as Gardner Minshew got in there again. I don't know that I've ever seen a team take knees knowing that it would not end the game. Just like, we're going to take knees because it doesn't matter. We're going to go for it on 4th and goal, and we're just going to run it up the middle because we don't care if we score or not. We're not going to kick a field goal because that would be
bad
mean.
For you.
Yeah. My heart goes out for Pete Carroll.
Hear me
as
out.
Andy Reid said, my heart goes out for Pete Carroll. You know what my heart doesn't go out to? Pete Carroll. Heart doesn't go out for Pete Carroll. He's probably well taken care of, well fed, and he's the coach of the Raiders. So to hell with him.
I'm convinced that what the Chiefs did yesterday was actually more disrespectful than running the score up.
Than just
they put Gardner. They could have waited till the fourth quarter started to put in
man.
Mahomes. What did they do? 8 seconds left in the third quarter. You know why? That shows you that Gardner came in the third quarter.
Yeah.
They took knees without the time running out. You know why? It's so disrespectful saying, we'll give you another chance. We'll give you the ball back. I thought that was actually more disrespectful. Shout out Andy.
Disrespectful to me, I know that. Appreciate you, Andy. Oh, I don't know, somebody that had Mahomes parlay with 25-plus rushing yards, 25-plus completions, 3-plus touchdowns, and 300-plus yards passing. 200 in the first 3 drives, and he gets to 286. And just, I don't know, 1 more completion would have been fine. He had 28 yards rushing, check. 26 completions, check. 3 touchdowns, check. 286. Andy, you owe me some money. That's all I'm saying. It's not a big deal. It's not really about me. It's about Andy owing me money. Okay, I'm going to send him a bill. It's fine. I'll just send him a bill. It'll be perfectly fine. But enough about me and that weekend and the rough stretch I'm on. It just goes right along the line with what's going on, man. Jason Anderson with you. It is Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy, Jack Johnson hanging out with us. You heard him yesterday after the game was over against the Raiders. You know what they didn't do? They didn't struggle with a noon game. Like, they talked about all week, like, well, it's noon, it's different, you know. It gets there pretty quickly. You got to make sure everything's taken care of. Like, we've talked about them being a little sleepy in noon games before because they're so used to playing night games or 3:25 games that they got a larger portion of the day to do whatever they need to do and then get to the stadium and get ready to play. This is one to where you wake up and go. And they came out and just... I mean, the last time it felt like this was the Bears, and that was in 2022 when they dominated. I mean, Taylor Swift's first ever game at Arrowhead, she's now engaged to Travis Kelce, and you see another performance like this where it's just start to finish dominance, and it's a party at Arrowhead. Because that's what it was. It was just a party at Arrowhead, and not one time when the Chiefs took over, whether that was at their own 8-yard line or their own 16-yard line or their own 6-yard line, not one time did I question whether they were going to score on that drive. Like, honestly, I just knew they were going to score because there were no answers in the game. Even when they handed off on first down and gained 2 yards. It is amazing to think back, Sterling, Jack, Michael. It is amazing to think back to last year when they would hand off on first down and gain 2 yards and be like, jeez. 2nd and 8, good luck. All right, well, incomplete. 3rd and 8, good luck. Well, here comes a punt. I mean, they've got to run the ball better. You have to run the ball better. You cannot run an offense if you're not running the ball more effectively. You've got to run the ball more effectively. I mean, how can you can't have an offense where you're picking up 2 yards on first down running the football. Like, you're trying to run the football, but Andy, I get it, but you want to pass the ball, but, do you have the protection to pass the ball? And do you have the receivers to pass the ball? Like, it's just this offense is so frustrating. When can they get back to being the offense that they are? And now it's like, hand off to Pacheco, 2 yards, cool, whatever. 2nd and 8, 3rd and 14. Like, I was thinking during the game, and I took a note during the game, and I said, 3rd and Mahomes is back.
Yeah.
The Chiefs' offense is so back that 3rd and long in that game, certainly. But there wasn't like some sort of a nervousness, certainly in that game, because they were dominating anyway.
Yeah.
But we called it for so long, 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22. It was 3rd and Mahomes. No matter what the 3rd down was, figure it out. They'll get the first down somehow. Didn't matter what it was. Like, people forget that on that left-handed pass against the Broncos with Patrick Mahomes, that was 3rd down, and it continued that drive while they were trailing. People forget that they had a penalty that pushed them back the very next set of downs. They had to overcome 2nd and 20 against that Broncos after the left-handed pass. They had to do that. And Mahomes got it done because it was just like they're going to find a way to do it. And 3rd and Mahomes is back, whether that was a little screen to Rashard Smith or rolling to the right, throwing back across his body, or scrambling to the right, or scrambling on his own to pick up the first down. It didn't matter. They were moving the football. They were moving the chains 30 different times, moving the chains in this game. And it was as dominant of a performance that I can ever remember. And we can spend the next 4 hours, guys, talking about what the offense is, and never even get to the defense shutting that team out.
Yeah.
Because that's how dominant the offense was. And because we've spent the last 2 years giving the defense their flowers, that you've been sitting around waiting and waiting and waiting for the offense to look like this. And it does. And so it's not to take the defense for granted what they did. The first shutout since 2011, the first shutout for Andy Reid as a coach. Like, crazy to think about. And that unbelievable stat where Andy Reid's first game was with the Chiefs was what they win 28-2 because of a safety that they had that would have been a shutout, and he finally gets that shutout, whether he gets it or the Chiefs or Steve Spagnuolo, whatever it might be. Like, we can talk about that, but we've spent the last couple of years giving the defense their flowers as to why they won the Super Bowl against the 49ers and went there in 23, and why they were able to win close games last year to the tune of 12 of them and go to the Super Bowl against the Eagles. And I think defensively not really play that bad in a blowout because of all the different circumstances that we have addressed and talked about and litigated along the way. And not to get back into that as to why the defense actually played well against the Eagles in that particular game. We've done that. And it's been, can this offense get to a point to where it's not so reliant on the defense? Can they get to a point to where they are just rolling offensively and then let Spags and the defense do their thing that they've been doing? And they did it. And they've been doing it with the exception of that damn Jags game that just stands out.
7
miles an hour.
7 guys had 25 yards or more receiving. Technically 28 if you want it, because Noah Gray was the cutoff there. 7.
Yeah.
That's a feast.
Yeah.
EGE, everybody got to eat. That was a feast, a cornucopia, a copious amounts of delicious food was strewn all over the table.
I love it.
This was a crawfish boil, and the Raiders were the newspaper that got rolled up and thrown away at the end. Okay? It was well seasoned. It was delicious. That's what this game was.
Yeah. 9 receivers, 9 different players caught a reception.
Yeah, 9 had a reception, 7 were 25 yards or more. And again, this was just a situation where you look around the NFL a lot of times, and receivers are divas. We know this. And now this is one game. Who knows later on if someone gets upset? It's possible. But you just see the emotion on their faces of when other guys have success. You see, I think it was Tyquan Thornton had the 39-yarder, and I think it was Juju Smith-Schuster ran up next to him and starts dancing. And the ball's not going to him, and he's celebrating because his teammate made a great play. And you look around the NFL, and you see receivers pout if the ball doesn't go their way. They won't block if the ball doesn't go their way. Not this Chiefs team. Rashee Rice, great to see him come back. 7 receptions, and you saw some of the yak ability that he does bring to this offense. You saw a couple of maybe, I don't want to say jitters, but a couple of times where the ball wasn't super snug in those hands. 2 touchdowns, though. You knew the pop pass touchdown was going to be the first touchdown. That was the easiest lock of the century. I mean, that was... But you just keep going, and then we don't even talk about the offensive line without some pieces. Trey Smith in the back, and you see Juwan Taylor went out in this game, and obviously Josh Simmons isn't there. The offensive line was phenomenal, and I keep trying to point this out because we were so hard on Kingsley last year. It's time to give him his due. Kingsley Suamataia was phenomenal yet again in this one. Andy Heck, whose job I thought was on the hot seat, right? We talked about it. We said, hey, at least I talked about it. I said, Andy Heck, you have so much talent. You have so much draft capital, so much money, most expensive offensive line in football. You got to see something more here. He's shown us more.
Yeah, Kingsley's been really good, and I do want to get into a conversation about the injuries as they did add up. We'll see what's going on with Trey Smith as he left the game. His back, quote, locked up. Juwan Taylor left with a shoulder injury, so we'll see what the latest is with that. But, you know, Jack, you had the postgame show, and, yes, it was a shutout, but so much of that game is about the offense, and Patrick Mahomes and the receivers. And it's not fretting, as I said, about, this team can't run the ball. They have to have a better running back. Certainly they could use that guy, but they're not in the market for a running back, as Diana Rossini, put out at The Athletic in her report, that the Chiefs are in the market for defensive linemen. With Omar Norman-Lott, maybe that even adds to that as well. But the defense certainly deserves their flowers, but it's just that it's been a long time coming to see this offense play like this. And let me point out real quick, Jack, and then I'll let you take it away. It's not just this game, okay? The last 5 weeks, the Chiefs are the number 1 offense, total offense and scoring offense. They have the highest point differential, the Chiefs do, in the last 5 weeks in the NFL. They're 4-1, the only loss being that Jags crazy game. And at halftime of the Giants, when apparently Creed Humphrey had the, come to Jesus with everybody and let's figure this bleep out offensively, halftime of the Giants being the line of demarcation of what the Chiefs offense is doing when they sort of said, all right, let's be us again. They had 22 possessions in those 4, 8, 10 quarters. Okay, 3rd game of the season, the Giants. So 10 quarters of football at halftime of the Giants. They had 22 possessions. They averaged 2 points per possession. They had 11 scoring drives out of 22. Half of their drives were scoring drives. They had 7 punts, and 6 of those 7 were 3-and-outs. They scored only 4 touchdowns. The last, since the Giants game, so 4.5 games, 33 possessions. They're averaging 4.2 points per possession. They have 23 scoring drives out of 33 possessions with 18 touchdowns, 5 field goals. The 7 punts, 3 3-and-outs. That's it. Now I'm only counting.
Are you counting the Gardner Minshew?
No.
Okay, I was about to say that'd be.
No. No, it's eliminating the Minshew and eliminating the kneel downs at the end of half or the end of games because that's
good call.
Skewing those things. But
appreciate
because
that.
I eliminated those in the first, 10 quarters as well when they had drives where they just took knees there. So those do not count. But this is a completely different offense since then. 18 touchdown drives out of 33 possessions. Like 23 of 33 possessions, they have put points on the board. And that it's not one of those, Jack, to where you look at the numbers and go, really, that's kind of surprising that that's the case. In fact, I was kind of surprised that it was only 4 points per possession. It's absolutely double. It's 2.1 to 4.2. It's literally double the amount of points per possession since halftime of the Giants of whatever took place. And then Worthy comes back that next week, and this team is scoring a touchdown on half of their possessions in a game. 18 touchdowns, 33 possessions.
Well, I want to go back to the Tuesday because it was a Monday night game in Jacksonville where we were discussing this game, and we had this conversation of the way that the Chiefs lost this game. It was a bit erratic. They have a pick six when they're at the Jags 5. It gets returned for 6 the other way. Butker kicks a ball out of bounds. You're penalized 9 or 10 times. It was
13 penalties.
13 times. Yeah, it was 13 penalties in that game.
They had 9 fewer or 13 fewer the next week.
Yeah, I mean, that showed you it was the wake-up call a little bit of how you're supposed to finish games. But looking at those two teams, it was, well, who would you rather be? And I understand that winning in the NFL is incredibly important. But when the Chiefs have this much success, you know they are capable of turning it around rather quickly. And what have we seen in the last 2 games? The Chiefs dominated the Lions, and they bludgeoned the Raiders, and the Jags are 0-2, and we said that those parts of, the Jags, they have this, they have a million interceptions, the linebackers leading the league in interceptions, the offense, it was fortunate to score more than Kansas City. I feel like in that game you had a couple of miscues on Kansas City's side. Jacksonville took advantage, and the Chiefs, they outgained them by hundreds of yards, and it felt like they were on the cusp of doing something like this. And now this offense is firing on all cylinders. They have all their weapons healthy. The offensive line, you don't need to put as much stress and strain on them because you're getting the ball out so quickly.
Right.
That was something last year. It really put Wanya Morris or whoever was at left tackle in the spotlight because nobody could get open inside of 10 yards, right? There was no route that you could run that they were going to be, confused by, speaking of opposing defenses. And last year, there was one game, I'm not even including in Philadelphia here because at that point I thought the Chiefs would be able to match up somewhat well, not get blown out in the way they did. Mm-hmm. But I remember the Buffalo game was the first time in the Patrick Mahomes era I really went, there's going to have to be a lot that goes right in this game for them to win. And they were undefeated at that point. But looking at the Bills' offense at that point and the Chiefs' offense, it was they're going to need to score 30 to 35, and I don't know how they're going to do it with the guys they have out there. And now, funny enough, we're leading into that Bills game after the Commanders game, and you feel like this is the best offense in the NFL. If you're a Kansas City fan, you do. You're feeling very good about the weapons they have, being able to spread the ball around, the offensive line. I mean, Jalen Moore stepped up the last 2 games, and we were concerned if he was going to be able to do that. Trey Smith, we'll see if his back's going to be fine because you'd much rather have him than Caliendo there. But going back to that Jags game and how they've responded since that point, it kind of feels like this was what was supposed to happen. That was a game where I hate to do it because it's all shoulda, woulda, coulda, and it's hypothetical, but that was a game they absolutely should have won. They outgained Jacksonville. They had boneheaded mistakes they never make, and Jacksonville since that game has been 0-2, got crushed yesterday, and the Chiefs were on the opposite side of that. They were on the other side, or the pendulum swung the other way for them, where they're beating teams by 30-plus now.
10 of the last 14 drives for the Chiefs have resulted in touchdowns. The last 2 drives against Jacksonville, the 7 possessions against Detroit, and the 5 possessions against the Raiders, because Mahomes is only out there for 5 possessions. They ended the Jags game with touchdown. Detroit, they scored 4 touchdowns out of those 7 drives, and 4 of the 5 drives against the Raiders were touchdowns. 10 of their last 14 possessions with Mahomes at quarterback have been touchdowns.
To me, I think depth has been the biggest benefactor for Kansas City. I think it's the biggest reason why they are where they're at and why the offense is where it is. I mean, you just look at guys that were cast away from New England of all teams, Tyquan Thornton, Juju Smith-Schuster, but when you have them in the correct role, when you have them in the right spot, when you have them with Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, then Hollywood Brown, then Juju, then Ty, I mean, you just see that everyone has a role and they fit it very, very well. It allows Noah Gray to be a legitimate tight end, too, on this roster. You see the offensive line, why we were so thrilled with the Jalen Moore signing, even before we knew about Josh Simmons, for stuff like this. That's why you bring back Mike Caliendo. I know we've all had our concerns last year when he was the starting left guard and how at times the inconsistencies and the, quite frankly, the lows were so drastic. but you saw that he has been a guy who has started before and a guy that he can fill in a pinch and play fine. I think one of the best plays of the game was actually the Mahomes scramble, 5 receivers out wide, and Caliendo was in, Juwan Taylor was in, Max Crosby was still in at this point. Crosby came in, Caliendo blocked him, Juwan Taylor sealed, and that allowed Mahomes to roll out. And I go, what a great job by Caliendo and Juwan Taylor. Again, that's just the depth on the offensive side. You get to the defense, and it's why you can have Christian Fulton, the guy you paid to be a starter, be a healthy scratch, because your rookie and Noah Williams has stepped to the way that he has. And by the way, doesn't it make you feel pretty good that if an injury were to transpire in the secondary, you have a guy who you brought in to be a starter as a healthy scratch? I mean, this entire defense and offense is just, to me, depth is paramount. I'm tired of hearing teams talk about injuries. It's the NFL! Everyone has injuries. How do you overcome?
Yeah.
This Chiefs team, they overcome.
Let's hear this clip, because this was one of the best parts of the game yesterday. This will be clip number 4. Michael, clip number 4 here. This was just, I don't know if it's disrespectful. I don't know why the Chiefs keep doing these things against the Raiders, because Snow Globe, Ring Around the Rosie Snow Globe was against the Raiders and was so disrespectful, and you had people, oh, you don't do that in the NFL. Chiefs had a couple of different trick play type things, but let's take a listen to this one there in the game for the Chiefs with Nance and Romo on the call.
I think it comes from all my State Farm commercials. No, I'm joking. The Nags actually came up with the idea. You know, we had talked about of doing the hard count and trying to draw the teams off sides. And I can't remember who I watched do it a couple of years ago, and they had said that, and so I was like, I'm going to use that as part of my acting to like try to get the defense just to relax a little bit. But at the end of the day, we still got to go get it. And I thought the offensive line did a great job of driving off the ball, and then Kareem in those situations is money.
Totally my fault. Now let's play the clip, because that was funny. It was the State Farm acting. But now let's play the clip that was one of the most enjoyable parts of the game.
Tried to draw him offside. Sorry. Mahomes says, Coach, it doesn't
there they go.
work. He was faking it.
There they
He
go.
got you.
You would give it up on that one. You thought for sure it was a draw, didn't you?
The Andy Reid.
Draw him offside.
Unbelievable. Pete Carroll even knows this. We're going to make you think we're trying to draw you off sides, and then we're going to go ahead and take a downward punt. And then he goes, and Mahomes goes, gosh, it never works. It never stinking works.
Yeah, he said it never stinking works. That's exactly what he said, was it never stinking works.
Great day for hot mics in the
Right?
with Missouri game, and now with Chiefs.
All good, man. All good. That was fun. The almost trick play was an easy walk-in touchdown, although I appreciate – well, it didn't happen anyway. I was going to say at the time I appreciated it because I needed the 3 touchdowns from Mahomes. I also needed, 14 more passing yards. No big deal. We'll talk about some of the injuries that took place, what it means moving forward. The Chiefs are now the betting favorites to win the Super Bowl. The dynasty is dead. People are melting down. I mean, it's just people refuse to actually acknowledge what's happening right now, what we have been talking about for a few weeks of what was happening, and then when Rashee Rice was going to come back, and that being evidenced by a simple tweet from yesterday, that the replies are just chef's kiss. We'll talk about that as well. Field Yates comes up at 11:30. We open up the phone lines, 913-381-810. If you want to be a part of the show, 913-381-810. You can text in as well, 913-9124, 913-912-4810. 913-912-4810. Phone lines, 913-381-810. More Zone next.
You're in the zone on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Well, it's here, folks, because all of your favorite NBA players are now back. And DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is the place to bet on NBA stars this season. With more markets open for more of the game. DraftKings, the #1 sports book for live betting, is live when others aren't. And new customers bet just $5. We'll talk with Field Yates coming up an hour from now. Chiefs plus 500 to win the Super Bowl. Betting favorites, Buffalo Bills plus 750. Green Bay Packers plus 800 to win the Super Bowl. The Chiefs, for the first time, are not only the betting favorites to win the division, but you no longer have plus odds. They're now minus 120 to win the AFC West. You had up until this point, really the last 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, that you could have got them at plus money to win the West. I think I got them at like plus 180, plus 190 to win the West when they
Smart
were
man.
when they were 0-2. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and place. This is ridiculous. But now they're minus 120 betting favorites. Patrick Mahomes betting favorite for MVP, and that's without playing a fourth quarter in a game where he was doing everything that he wanted to do and could have easily had 300 yards passing. 913-381-0810. Jerry leads us off here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jerry, go right ahead. What's on your mind, sir?
Happy Victory Monday.
It is a good one.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
Yeah. I appreciate Jack letting me call in last night, and I appreciate you letting me call in today. I'll try and be really, really quick. I don't know if it's possible, but I think Pat Mahomes should win an Emmy for his role in It Effing Never Effing Works, Man. And the other thing, I wish they would combine CBS and Fox. I think that would be really good if it were Pat Menefee and James Brown and Terry Bradshaw and Howie Long and Matt Ryan. Just eliminate Bill Cowher, Nate Burleson, Michael Strahan, and Rob Gronkowski. I'd be a happy person.
Okay.
The question I have for you guys, I was a bartender for I don't know if you remember the Belt Bowl in St. Joe when you were at Mo West, Jason.
I don't. Well, I know
it
the
was
Belt.
a sports complex.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just a bowler's bar, volleyball courts,
Okay, yeah.
and a couple bars in there. I was a bartender at the Tux, the sports bar / biker bar, and we always promoted the Raider Hater games.
Yeah.
This was exactly like that. Back between like 89 and 95, we really saw. We had T-shirts made up.
Oh yeah.
This game reminded me of a T-shirt that I was really fond of, where it has a discombobulated Raider on the front of the shirt, filled with arrows, completely full of arrows. If you could see that was my favorite Raider Hater shirt. The question I have for you is, who pays the fines for the F-bombs? Is it CBS Chiefs or Pat Mahomes himself, or do you even know? You even have a clue? Thanks for the show.
Jerry, thank you, man. I appreciate it. 913-381-0810. I'm not sure that they would be fined for that. I don't think you're fined for there being a hot mic there. There's a lot of words that are said during a game. Not the player's fault that there is a hot mic. Rashee Rice will get a fine, though, for punting the football after the first touchdown. Also, the Chiefs now have an emergency punter. So, it's a fine, but it's a small price to pay for the Chiefs to know that they have a guy if Ariza can't do it. Put Rashee Rice out there because it looked pretty good on that punt.
It does say the individual who made the comments, if they're caught on a hot mic, can be. Doesn't mean that it's guaranteed.
Oh, well, the NFL, it's rigged for the Chiefs. They won't do that to the Chiefs. They won't find the
That's
Chiefs.
according to the AI overview of an entire thing.
They won't find the Chiefs. They won't find Patrick Mahomes. He's their golden child. That will not happen. 913-381-0810. Mac next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Go right ahead. What's on your mind, sir?
Is that me, guys?
Yep. Go right ahead, brother.
Oh, sorry.
You're good.
Yeah, I was going to call. I had a question. I heard you kind of went over it. I saw Rasheed punt that ball, and I wondered why we didn't get a flag on that. And then my question, and I'll just hang up. I know Clyde had all those problems. The number one draft pick. He's on the team. I don't want to make you mad, and I love Pacheco, but Pacheco seems very average to me. I'm just wondering if there's any chance that we'll get to see Clyde again.
Mac, I appreciate the phone call. I would say only in an emergency situation. I think if you feel like Pacheco is average, then wait till you see Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I don't think he would be a better version for this running game. It's not what the Chiefs are missing, is whatever Clyde would offer to bring to the table. Right now, their best choices are the ones that are on the active roster, and that may ultimately continue to grow into Brashard Smith being that guy as he gets more and more used to the offense and the blocking scheme and setting guys up. There was one play that was really good where he's running into the hole and a linebacker starts to fill it, and he waits till the linebacker fills, and then he cuts behind one of the offensive linemen, which eliminated that if he just runs to where the hole is immediately, then that linebacker sees him and fills it. But instead, he's running to the right of, I think it was Caliendo and Creed, or it might have been earlier in the game. I think it was Caliendo and Creed at that point when, Trey Smith had already left the game. Yeah, because Trey Smith was gone early in the game.
Yeah.
So he was running to the right, and there was there was space there, but there was a whole lot more space to the left of Creed. And he's running there, and one of the linebackers starts to fill, and then he just cuts back. I don't know what Pacheco does on that play, but
in a larger sense, we do.
I think one of the two things, either Pacheco just runs straight to where Brashard Smith started, or Pacheco immediately runs straight ahead, and there's two linebackers there to stop him because he doesn't set up the linebacker by showing that he's going this way and then cutting back right behind. Because he could have cut back much earlier than he did. But it was almost like he was patient. The linebacker filled. Now let me cut back so that guy has vacated where I really want to go anyway.
To his point, I think Pacheco has been fine the past few weeks because I think the first few weeks he'd been bad. Mm-hmm. I think it was fair to say he'd been bad. I think Pacheco's been fine the past few weeks. I think Kareem Hunt's carved out a very nice role. I think Kareem has a good role on this team. And then you saw some of the, as you mentioned, the glimpses of Brashard Smith that get you excited, a guy who'd been a receiver the majority of his entire collegiate career. And you see some of these nuances that he brings. And I think, to me, the most impressive thing I saw from Brashard was actually the physicality that he brought on one of those, where I go, okay, I didn't know he had the physicality to go with the quickness and speed. How is he going to handle? He had 14 carries. Yeah, yards per carry were bad because they were stacking the box. They knew they were running. But kind of to your point, I think Brashard Smith is the guy that you tab as, if there's anyone else on this roster, it's not Elijah Mitchell, it's not Clyde, it's Brashard Smith we want to see more of.
Yeah, I think as the season goes along, we're going to see a little bit more. We're seeing him in the receiving game, and early on, too. It's not like they put him in to throw the ball to him every once in a while late in the game. Like, early on, he's getting the ball and getting the ball thrown to him, finding ways to put the ball in his hands. And one of the surprises for me, I didn't know this about his game, is his ability to break tackles and the first guy, especially out in space when he's got as a receiver, he's typically getting past the first guy where, look, they're different runners. Pacheco, while he runs hard, doesn't really break tackles. He takes the guy on, and it's a great collision, and he pops right back up. But he also pops right back up because he got tackled. And Brashard Smith seems to have that, I'm not comparing the two, I'm just using it as an extreme example, that Marcus Allen, for some reason, would always fall forward, like no matter what. Like he'd be getting hit straight on, two guys. He always had this ability to where he could fall forward and never get like knocked back. It always feels like Brashard Smith is falling forward after he's getting hit and spinning off guys, that there's never some head-on collision and then he's stopped in his tracks or thrown backwards in open space. Again, that's an extreme example, but early on, I didn't know that about his game. And I think that's what the Chiefs see from him probably in practice as to why he may get more and more and why maybe they're not in the market for a running back, according to Diana Rossini, that they're in the market for a defensive lineman, not running back.
Well, they've done this with two of their starters already where, we've questioned why isn't Juwan Taylor been benched, just to send a message, right? Mm-hmm. He's not lining up correctly. You got to hold somebody accountable. They said, well, we'll get it fixed with him, right? He's going to figure things out. And last 3 to 4 weeks, Juwan Taylor's been really good. Kingsley Suamataia, same thing. Looked overwhelmed again in the first couple of weeks, and now he's settled down a little bit. So I wonder, because we know how much the Chiefs love guys that know the playbook. They don't want to go out there and bring in somebody that they have to teach the whole damn thing to again. So with Pacheco, maybe it's not him. Kareem Hunt has settled into this role of being the third and short, fourth and short down back. I feel it's a perfect role for him. Or down by the goal line. Kind of replaces the role of a fullback where they used to love Sherman and Burton just to run up the middle there, or those misdirection handoffs. But Brashard Smith can become that guy. But we also have to take into account he is a wide receiver turned running back. He might not have all of the tools to be that bell cow back just yet. He's fine in the passing game. He had 5 targets, 5 catches yesterday. So maybe right now why we see Pacheco so much is, yes, the belief of, hey, we still think he can be that 2023 guy, but also because he's got those running back tools. But week 10, week 12, week 13, you probably need to get to that point where Brashard Smith does have enough carries, enough experience where he can be that guy that gives you, maybe 4.5 yards a carry. Yesterday, it was tough. A lot of those play calls were just running to the middle of the line and just get stuffed. We're just trying to run the clock here. I would love to see him really get utilized in what Pacheco gets out there, the type of handoffs that he gets. And if he has one of those explosive games, goes 12 for 75 yards, 80 yards, that can be the game that elevates him to the number one back, because I believe talent-wise, ceiling-wise, he is that guy by the trade deadline. We're not even worried about who the running back out there could be because you already have somebody that can take that top spot.
Yeah, the first drive or I should say the second drive when Gardner Minshew came in. So there was 11 minutes to go, just under 12 minutes to go in the game, and it was Minshew, and he hands off to Brashard Smith, and it was the right end. He ends up getting pushed out of bounds. He gains 6 yards, but he beats the guy to the angle to the sideline and turns it up for 6 yards. It's not a 2-yard gain because he can't get around the edge. It's a 6-yard gain because he was fast enough to get out there, turn the corner, and pick up a few more yards, and now it's 2nd and 4 instead of 2nd and 7. And I think that's the difference that he brings to the table, that juice, than somebody else. Let's take in a phone call here before we take a break. Let's bring in Chief Scattaboo, waiting on hold here to join the show.
Great name.
Chief, what's on your mind, brother?
Did you guys see that game yesterday? Was that not exciting? Is it never good to have the best Chiefs game again on Raider Week? We punked the Raiders again. You can't tell me that Patrick Moses didn't have that D-back from the Raiders with these little Kermit the Frog dolls, and they come out there and they punked them. They beat them. Yeah! Woo! That's all I got. Thanks for taking it.
All right. Hell of a call. That is the definition of Chief Scattaboo. I now see why his name is Chief Scattaboo.
I love the energy, the high volume, and he goes, that's all I got.
That's all I got. I'm good.
He knows how to decrescendo. It's a crescendo, and then he decrescendoed. I love that call.
We'll take a timeout. We'll end the segment on that call. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More phone calls, text messages, and we'll get into some more about what took place in this game, what took place around the NFL as well. As we continue rolling along, it is a Victory Monday here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. You know, the weather's turning into fall weather, which then will turn into winter weather. And the question that you should ask yourself is my roof ready to go for the winter months? If you don't know the answer to that, then check out Pyramid Roofing, pyramidroofingkc.com. You can give them a call, 816-966-1101. You want to know that you've got the peace of mind that your roof is weatherproofed for the weather ahead, so you can stay ahead of that weather. They offer that free roof inspection, which is that peace of mind. If there's damage up there, if there's something that may lead to leaks or other issues, they can check it out, get it done before it becomes a problem, and there's other damage that you then have to fix. If it's leaks or missing damaged shingles, maybe there's a sagging roof, broken tiles up there. If your roof is over 15 years old, then you probably need to get an inspection to see if it's good to go. We woke up one day and looked up at the ceiling in the room, and there were water spots there, and we thought, oh no. Called up Pyramid Roofing. They came out immediately, gave us the inspection, saw what the issue was. You know what? There was wind damage at this spot here. It's a quick fix. We'll get it done. I showed up like a week later to the house, and I look up and I'm like, oh, it's done. I didn't even realize it was already taken care of. Awesome people to work with. PyramidRoofingKC.com. Check them out, 816-966-1101, both commercial and residential, locally owned and operated. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. PyramidRoofingKC.com, 816-966-1101, PyramidRoofingKC.com. Yeah. I was watching the game later on in the day because Little Man had a baseball tournament. And so I was keeping track of the game as it was going along. And one of the Rashee Rice catches, I really wish that I was watching it live because it could have had a really funny, stupid dad tweet there because Devin White was guarding him.
Oh, White Rice.
And I was going to say, I guess we can't use the phrase as close as white on rice anymore because he was not close to him. All right, let's go to the phone lines, 913-381-0810. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry about that.
I liked it, actually. I hate to admit it. I did like it, Jason.
Thank you. John next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB. John.
Sports or leisure.
No. What's on your mind, John? How you feeling, brother? What do you got?
I'm good. Hey, the glass is 3/4 full from yesterday's game.
Love it.
Looking at the first 3 quarters, and the NFL is very close. Things turn on just a few plays. Remember, we put the ball on the ground, and we got an extremely fortunate bounce. We picked it up, and we ran for another 10 or 12 yards. Take that one away and see what happens. Pat threw 2 passes that should have been intercepted, and they weren't. And then Juju Smith made that great adjustment and caught that 3rd and 14 after the ball was deflected.
Yep.
Turn those plays around and give them and they go the other way, and there's a much, much closer game going on in a 31-0 blowout.
Yeah, it's a little bit closer, but I think the Chiefs were still going to be able to do what they do because 31-0 blowout was without the Chiefs doing anything in the fourth quarter because Gardner Minshew was there just taking knees. The Chiefs still would have taken care of business, and I know that's not what you're saying, and that's why you're saying 3/4 full. I think it is worthy of being acknowledged that in the game there were a number of plays that did bounce in the Chiefs' favor.
Sure.
That obvious dropped interception where Mahomes even went over and patted the guy on the back and smiled there. And then was the other one that was almost intercepted?
The same drive, by the way. It was the same drive.
Right,
it was back-to-back plays.
But one of them was the Max Crosby offsides. So even if it was intercepted, it would have come back.
The one earlier in the game.
Yeah, when he threw it to the left.
That was one where I think he knew that Max was offsides, and so it was a... But yeah, the one I believe that John is talking about is the one later in the game.
Where the defensive tackle, defensive tackle drops back, and Mahomes got. I mean, he didn't know that guy was going to drop back in coverage. And the one that was tipped to Juju, I thought was interesting because that was fortunate, but I think there's a little bit of the fortune being earned to a degree, or creating your own fortune, because that guy that tipped it was overrunning that space and was vacating that because Mahomes was staring in a certain spot to get him out of that space to then throw it to Juju. Now, the guy, gets his hand in the air and tips it. So to your point, it could have been incomplete, settle for a field goal. Instead of 3rd and 14, they go down and score a touchdown on that one. So good on Juju Smith to concentrate on that deflection. But the deflection was not an interception because Mahomes moved that guy out of that space. The ball a little bit higher or a little bit more to the left, and it would not have been a deflection. But sometimes you create your own fortune to a degree. So, but I get the point, John, overall.
And you won't be able to get away with that against the Bills.
Yeah, no, I agree. And if Jaden Daniels plays on Monday, you probably won't be able to get away with it against the Commanders, although I would say the line, and John, I appreciate the phone call. We're going to take a break because we're up against the top of the hour. I would also say that the line is baked into them not expecting Jaden Daniels to play because the Chiefs are 10-point favorites against the Commanders on Monday night. Now, even if Jaden Daniels plays, I still like the Chiefs to win. And the way this offense is performing, the way the defense is playing, like I mean, I look at the rest of the season for the Chiefs, and maybe 2 games where you look at it and go, questionable if they're the better team. I think Buffalo and the Colts right now.
I still feel like the Colts are and I'm not trying to take anything away from the Colts.
I feel like you are.
They remind me a lot of pre-Patrick Chiefs, where they're going to be a great regular season team. They're getting a lot of wins, but then the playoffs roll around, and then people will say, yeah, I'm not scared of Daniel Jones.
Yeah. I mean, as the season goes along, it's like, well, now the schedule looks tougher. And then now it's like, does it look as tough? Well, Colts look better, but everybody else is sort of taking a step back now. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy, Jack Johnson hanging out with us. We'll talk with Field Yates, our NFL insider from ESPN. The Chiefs dominate the Las Vegas Raiders. They're now 4-1 in their last 5 games. And in those 5 games, they are the number 1 offense in the league, total offense, scoring offense, widest point differential in the league. And I thought it funny that no matter what the Chiefs do, there's not going to be credit given to them. People were so excited to jump on the grave when they were 0-2. To bury them, put the dirt on there, and then dance. And just have some fun on the grave and have the tombstone say, you know, Dynasty 2019 to 2024. Or February 25 is when the dynasty died. And since then, they've been going through it because the Chiefs have been different since then. And the offense is much different since then. And last week, it was the Lions got screwed by the refs. And the Chiefs, again, don't get credit for anything. Now, they dominated the Raiders 31-0. The Raiders just came off a win against the Titans. Not a good Titans team, but they did beat the Titans. So 2 bad teams, 1 team won. Have to, except when there's a tie. So they beat the Titans by 10 last week. Tracy Wolfson out there in the game as the sideline reporter, along with Travis Kelce. She tweets out after the game, said, quick reaction, Chiefs are the Chiefs again. You can sense it on the sideline how much fun they're having. First shutout on defense for Andy Reid in regular season games, just 3 first downs allowed. If they stay healthy, especially on the offensive line, they are a Super Bowl team once again. She didn't say they are winning the Super Bowl. They are a Super Bowl team once again. By the way, Vegas has them as the betting favorite.
Sure.
They are plus 500.
Harmless comment. Seemed very normal.
Buffalo's plus 750. The Packers are plus 800. There's a gap between 1 and then 2 and 3. So they are a Super Bowl team once again. Sure. Here are the replies. They played the Raiders. They're one of the worst teams in the league. Chiefs are 4-3 and third in their division. If the season ended today, they're not even a playoff team. Kind of premature to make this claim. Slow your roll, honey. It was the Raiders. UMass would beat the Raiders. Except the Raiders just beat the Titans last week. Tracy, with all due respect, they were playing the Raiders.
At least they said with all due respect, though.
Yeah. No, they're not a Super Bowl team. They played the second worst team in the NFL. You can't even count this one. The Raiders are so bad.
Raiders are catching the strays here.
Slow down. Raiders are an expansion team. They played the Raiders, and the refs beat the Lions. Oh, they dominated the vaunted Raiders, and they're a Super Bowl team once again. Eye roll emoji. Unbiased journalism? ? They're playing a frazzled Raiders team. Too early to talk about the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. They beat the Raiders. LOL, they played the Raiders. They played the Raiders, SMH.
Shaking their head.
It's the Raiders. Chill. Sure, if they get every call. It's reply after reply after reply after reply. They beat the Raiders 31-0. Like, they punked the Raiders.
Yeah.
Lions beat bad teams, and it's, oh my God, this offense is unstoppable. This offense for the Lions cannot be stopped. Look what the Bills are doing offensively. Look at Josh Allen, all of this stuff. And I know this, so this is not, I'm preaching to the choir. I'm simply saying something that has been the case for the last couple of years. But even as the evidence is there, you cannot change to acknowledge what's going on with the Chiefs. Because your opinion is not what you're seeing. Your opinion is what you're hoping.
Yes.
And you're hoping that what you're seeing right now is false. So you are grasping at, well, they're 4-3. Who cares? They wouldn't even make the playoffs today, which is crazy. They wouldn't. But it's also crazy that the NFL doesn't end today.
I'm surprised by that. I always thought October 20th was the cutoff.
Typically it is.
Yeah.
But they decided this year to play 17 games. And not just 7. So that's really surprising that they're playing 17 this year and not 7. But it was so much fun for the collective mass 31 other fan bases when the Chiefs were 0-2. And the offense was struggling, and they lost to the Eagles, and they lost to the Chargers. And it was like, they're done. They're not going to win their division. Ha, I told you so. Spent all summer telling you guys the dynasty is dead. Another 4-1 with a crazy game against the Jags. And it's, this is why they're not good. This is why they're not good. They're not a Super Bowl contender yet. Tell that to Vegas. They don't typically build those big buildings by being wrong. Okay? They've got the Chiefs as the heavy betting favorite to win the Super Bowl now.
So what's funny about this, the Chiefs also have the second best point differential of anyone in the NFL.
Yeah, and the best in the last 5 weeks.
Second best point differential. The only one that's ahead of them, Colts by 30, by the way.
Right.
The Colts have dismantled teams. I know point differential is not the end-all, be-all because the Bengals have the second worst point differential in the entire NFL, and they're 3-4, which is, again, hilarious, makes zero sense. But when you watch this Chiefs team, it's obvious. And it wasn't like Tracy was saying something outlandish. It wasn't even a positive spin. It was just along the lines of how they are playing right now. This looks like, by the way, a team that's gone to 3 straight Super Bowls you think would get some of the benefit of the doubt there.
A team that's gone to 3 straight Super Bowls and has the second largest point differential in the positive. It's like, whoa. We can't call this team a Super Bowl. She even qualified it by saying if they stay healthy on the offensive line. Like, she wasn't just saying, like, this team has depth, they got it all. Like, this team is But that's sort of the way of the general public right now towards the Chiefs. There's not going to be any credit. And it's why I joked yesterday and tweeted out that, after the Broncos won, I tweeted out and said, the Broncos are easily the luckiest team in the league this year. With their comebacks against the Eagles and the Giants, they had so many different plays fall in their favor. They are one of the luckiest teams ever. I have no actual evidence to this. I just like creating a narrative that does not give a team that I don't root for any credit whatsoever. So lucky, the Broncos, because that's essentially what it is.
I'll give the Broncos credit for coming back. It was a lot of luck.
Oh, I was just
I was
joking about
I know
the
you're being
luck thing.
facetious. I know you were.
Yeah.
It took 2 missed extra points. It took a epic collapse by the Giants. But I didn't think the Broncos even had that in them to score a 33 and a quarter. I thought the Broncos offense, like when they were behind, I go, they're done. They can't come back. I'll give them credit. Bad team. Chiefs took care of business against the Giants, 22-9. Right?
Yeah.
That feels a lot better now. The Giants have been a little saltier with the change to Jackson Dart and Scattaboo. But I'll give the Broncos a little credit for doing that. But again, why are they getting all the credit for barely beating a Giants team when the Chiefs won by 13, 2 scores, and it was a disaster?
Yeah.
Because of narratives.
Yeah. And it's like, the comeback is great, but don't put yourself in that position.
Yes.
The comeback against the Eagles is great, but you put yourself in that position. And they won. They're standing alone in the AFC West. So good for the Broncos. They're sitting 5-2. Chiefs and Chargers sitting 4-3. Yes, the Chiefs are still third in their division. Yes, the Chiefs would not be in the playoffs right now if the season started right now, because Jacksonville, the Chargers, and the Chiefs are all 4-3. And the Chargers and the Jags have the tiebreaker over the Chiefs right now. So the Chiefs would be the 8th seed. There are not 8 seeds in the playoffs. So yes, but that's why you play the whole season, and that's why you look at what has happened and how the Chiefs are playing, because there ain't a team in the NFL that I'd rather take that situation moving forward than the Chiefs right now. With, the way they're playing defense and this offense, even with some of the injuries that took place on the offensive line, because the weapons are there, Mahomes still had time to get rid of the football, and also how quickly he was getting rid of the football.
Yeah.
Like and Mahomes is early on in the season. This is where we've also seen a change in the in the weapons. Is that early on in the season, what was Mahomes doing when he was scrambling? Scrambling to run. And now what did we see against the Raiders? When he was scrambling, he was still looking, he was stopping at the line of scrimmage to throw and make a play. He was only running when it was like, well, I guess I'll run because, it's there, right? But he was scrambling to throw the ball, which is what he's typically done in his career. And I think that's also Mahomes saying, these weapons that I have, I'm not the only guy on the offense here. I was the guy the first few weeks I had to do that because we weren't moving the football, so I had to do whatever it was to get this team across whatever finish line. And now, I'm scrambling, but I'm buying time here because I got Thornton going down the field. I got Xavier Worthy. I got Travis Kelce running open. As soon as he starts to scramble, these massive lanes and space starts opening up for guys down the field, especially a team like the Raiders that plays so much zone, that once you see Mahomes scrambling, you start to vacate your zone, and then he stops and throws it to a wide open guy.
Well, going back to this point about Denver, this point about Indianapolis, for the people out there that say, well, it's still, they're not a playoff team. They're 4-3, right? They're third place in their division. For many out there, what it will take for them to agree to it, and maybe they even wouldn't at that point, is if the Chiefs do get the Colts. They do have to play Denver twice, and how those games go may dictate the feeling for some of those people watching those games. But here's also the other reality of it, is as we've seen in the past with Kansas City, those regular season games, though important, it's not the end-all, be-all, right? Buffalo's beaten them the last 3 or 4 regular season games, and it has not amounted to anything. They have gone on to lose to them in the postseason. And, yes, for the narrative for a lot of people, it's not that you don't believe the Chiefs can beat them. It's that you don't want them to even get the chance to.
Yes.
Right? You want to tell yourself, Indianapolis is the 1 seed. And they are the way that offense is playing, and even if they do go into Arrowhead here in a couple of weeks and knock off the Chiefs, if the Chiefs get into the postseason and there was to be a matchup in the wild card round, the divisional round of Chiefs going to Indianapolis, despite all of the torturing the Colts have done to the Chiefs in years, you still go back to that point of it's a different team that elevates in the postseason. There was no way in hell the last 2 years The Chiefs, with those rosters, should have gone into Buffalo and beaten Buffalo last year with 38 points. Like, you can't really comprehend it. I kind of compared to the way of what I'm watching in the MLB postseason with the Dodgers, where all regular season, the Brewers went 6-0 against the Dodgers, and you're like convincing yourself, the Dodgers, they can't do it. They should not be the World Series favorite. No way they could win back-to-back. And for the Chiefs, it's 4 straight Super Bowls, right? But what happens when the lights get the brightest, right? Are we putting Daniel Jones, Bo Nix into those categories of, yeah, they can go win that big game in January. They can go to Arrowhead. The only one that's been able to do it is Joe Burrow, who's still active, and right now he's actually not active. But Tom Brady did it, and Joe Burrow did it. Nobody else has done it. So
Jalen Hurts, if you count NFC,
I mean,
NFC.
going to Arrowhead.
Winning
in the postseason, going to Arrowhead, and even if it's on the road, nobody's been able to do it on the road yet either, even though Patrick Mahomes has had 2 road postseason games.
Yeah.
So that's why no matter where the record is right now, if you are saying it's not a Super Bowl team, it's not because you don't believe they can get there or they're not talented enough. It's that you just don't want them to. And even if you convince yourself, well, hey, Indianapolis has the best scoring differential so far, they're really good. I am impressed. New England's been very good.
New England's been great.
But until you get that visual of them knocking Patrick Mahomes out of the postseason, it's tough to fully come around to that idea if you are an anti-Chiefs fan.
Who do you think Bills fans would rather see in the playoffs? Colts? Chiefs?
Yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Who do you think the Eagles would rather see in the Super Bowl? Patriots or Chiefs?
Well, they may have the confidence and the arrogance that we can do it again. But I see your point.
The point I remain is it's very clearly all these people who are trying to rip on the Chiefs, they don't want to see them. They would much rather see the Colts, the Patriots, the Bills, any other team.
It's not quite the same thing, but I also recall Brady's last year in Foxborough where they lost to that Titans team who we were discussing a little bit. Then they went on to beat the Ravens. But even that year, as bad as that Patriots team was, they were 10-7. They were a wild card team, and I was like, I just still don't want to play him. I still don't want to get Tom Brady.
You'd rather see the 1-seed Titans.
You would. You would rather see all of these teams instead of that guy. And I'd imagine that's what's going on. It's like, I hope Patrick Mahomes just doesn't get into the postseason, which in the first 2 games of the season, you had that going for you. They're 0-2. This actually isn't going to be a good enough team. But now, I mean, shoot, with this healthy roster, they've got the ability to win 7 of their next 8, something like that.
And also, like, to your guys' point, like, this is a team that if they get into the postseason playing like this, then it's the opposite of what you were talking about last year going into that Buffalo game, to where that team is saying, man, we need like 2 or 3 things to bounce in our favor to beat this team. Whereas Chiefs of the last couple of years, when you're facing off against Buffalo at home in the AFC Championship game, and everybody's, saying it's Bills. Bills are going to go in there and win the game. Chiefs haven't been the same team, right? It's going to be the Bills are playing great football, and the Chiefs have to play superior football, some of their best football all year long. They're winning all these one-score games. That ain't going to continue. They got lucky in the Texans. The refs screwed the Texans over. That's the only reason they won that game. Buffalo's going to take care of business. The year before, well, they're going to Buffalo. It's the first road game. Now let's see what Patrick Mahomes does. Like, that game in Buffalo was the best performance the offense has put together in yards per play in the last 2 years, 3 years. Like, going back to that Buffalo divisional game, they put 7.7 yards per play on the board. They haven't had 7.7 since yards per play. 7.6 against the Jags in Jacksonville. That's the closest that they've got to that divisional round in Buffalo. Because at the time you're going, now we get the Chiefs at home. Now all we have to do is play our game. Except the Chiefs went, well, no, we're going to raise our level to match and supersede what your level is. And against the Bills last year, it was one of the best games in Patrick Mahomes' playoff. Like, the different things he had to do to help win that game, the Bills go into it going, if we play our game, we're going to win this one. And the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes went into it and said, we are going to raise our game. And to your point, that's why you don't want to play the Chiefs. Because if they're playing well, it's like, well, what are we going to do to beat them? And if they're not playing well, it's like, yeah, but they're going to show up and play well. They're going to show up and play their best game because it's just freaking Patrick Mahomes. It's what he does. They didn't have to play an amazing game offensively against Baltimore, but they did have that one amazing opening drive when Mahomes was throwing the ball all over the place, and the 4th down throw to Travis Kelce, the touchdown throw to Travis Kelce, jumping out quickly 7-0. And then taking that lead, and the defense being what they were and the defense being opportunistic and that game going, Chiefs probably need a couple things to go their way, and they got a couple things to go their way, and that's why you just simply don't want to play them in the playoffs. So you're looking at it and going, they're not going to make the playoffs. 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 They're going to make the playoffs. Like, you're just hoping. And I just want to talk to him. I just want to shoot him. I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk.
Was that a Family Guy? What
Yes.
you're doing? Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
They're not going to make the playoffs. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're going to the Super Bowl, aren't they? Oh my God! I can't.
I saw a
live
Bills
through
fan.
another season.
I saw a Bills fan tweet out, and they go, "The Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl, aren't they?"
Yeah.
And you're just like, "Yeah."
Well, this is truthfully, if you go back to and it is only 7 to 8 games into the season, so stuff's going to change in the playoff picture. But who is the alpha in the? I mean, right now you can make a case it's Indianapolis, and it's do you believe Daniel Jones and Jonathan Taylor and Shane Steichen? Do you believe that collection? And if you do, that's totally fine. But last couple of years it's been Buffalo's the heavyweight here, and everybody else is chasing them.
Baltimore and Buffalo,
Cincinnati.
Well,
some of the years,
Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, Cincy for the past 5 years,
Yeah.
probably.
Yep.
Well, Cincy's done. They're pretty much cooked. I mean, they're staying in there if Joe Burrow gets back and healthy enough to play this year. They're 3-4. Ravens are cooked. I mean, they're 1-5.
that division's just so bad.
And then the Bills are 4-2. Miami's a layup. Jets are a layup. But you have 2 games against the Patriots, and you only lost one of them, right? I mean,
Patriots deserve some credit too.
They do, but of the traditional Big Four of the past 5 years,
yeah, absolutely.
Who's the one standing going in the correct direction? It's still the Chiefs.
Yeah. The Bills have the bye this week after coming off back-to-back losses. They head to Carolina next week. Whew, good luck with that one, Bills. The Chiefs have the Monday Night Football, and they have the short week heading to Buffalo, which you typically don't get a road game on a short week, but that's fine. It's life. It's the NFL. Adjust to it. Other teams would complain about it if it was the Chiefs playing at home against a team on a short week, but you adjust to it. Chiefs are used to these things. Go and play your game.
Yeah.
I think this is another one of those seasons where we're watching this team and people don't want to come to grips with the fact that it was 2 interceptions in the goal line that are keeping this team from being 6-1 right now. And the break that the rest of the AFC got was the Chiefs starting out 2-3. That was the break. That was to give the lead to the teams that shot out of the gates as the hare. And the Chiefs are just sitting there, the tortoise, like they are every year. We're good. We'll get there in the end, because in the end is all that matters. Once we get there in the end, it's
Lincoln
all that matters.
Park said that.
Yeah, and the other teams, and it's right, and the other teams are dancing and having fun as the Chiefs are way back there. They're not even going to make the playoffs. They're 4-3, third in their own division. We're just joking around because we're out to this big lead. And the next thing you know, you're going to look up and the tortoise is there in the end, because that's just what happens in the NFL. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back and continue rolling. Field Yates, our NFL insider from ESPN, joins us coming up next.
scoops the news. He's on TV more often than he's in bed. He'll break down the NFL without a single hair ever out of place. It's Field Yates of ESPN. Now in the zone with Jason Anderson on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy. We head up until 2 o'clock. We'll hear from Andy Reid coming up an hour from now. Mick Schaefer. 1 o'clock, Learn Funniest Best coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. Right now we talk with our NFL insider from ESPN, Field Yates, joining us here in the zone. Field, how are you, sir?
Well, I am doing well, Jason. How are you, my friend?
I am doing just fine. The Chiefs had themselves a nice little party out at Arrowhead Stadium from noon to about 2, and that's when they went ahead and closed shop, put everybody else in, and then the starters were able to enjoy from the sideline. What's the takeaway from that performance, given that the Raiders are, a lesser team, but the dominance of the Chiefs over an inferior team?
I'm wondering, when Patrick gets pulled from the game, do you think he goes to Andy and says, any issue with me leaving now to beat traffic from the stadium? Get congested after games like this. No, more seriously, for all of the greatness of Andy Reid and the longevity of Andy Reid, I was surprised to learn that was the first regular season shutout that he had been on the victory side of in his illustrious career. We talked last Monday about how that was the best Chiefs regular season win since fill in the blank. We didn't really have a definitive answer, but it was certainly impressive. Yesterday was impressive, perhaps just as impressive, but in different ways. Over the past couple of years, Jason, you and I have had many conversations. They often landed back at the same conclusion, which is that the Chiefs may be winning, it may be ugly, but whether it's ugly or pretty, it's going to be determined by what takes place when the team is playing in January and for their purposes, hopefully into February.
Yeah.
Yesterday did not look like a team that might have a chance to be playing in February. Yesterday looked like the best team in the NFL, firing on all cylinders. The offense is a wagon. Rashee Rice has 10 targets in his first game back. He scores twice. It has become a pick-your-poison passing attack. They still can't run the ball that effectively, but it doesn't really seem to matter. The defense was great. 30 total plays for the Raiders yesterday, 30 first downs for the Chiefs. I felt like it was very much set up for a spot for the Chiefs to dominate, but the NFL teaches us every single week nothing is set in stone. Yesterday was a trouncing. Yesterday was a handle business win. Yesterday was a demoralizing loss for the Raiders. Hard to dial it up better than what the Chiefs did yesterday.
Yeah, visiting with Field Yates, I said earlier in the show, I think it's the best win, dominant, not like overall best win, but the most dominant win in that fashion since they played the Bears in 2023.
Bears, yep.
And that's more known for the first game that Taylor Swift was at. Doesn't matter what happened on the field. Taylor Swift was at that game. But they had 7 straight scoring drives, 5 touchdowns, and a couple of field goals when they took Patrick Mahomes out of the game. At that point, being up, 31-0 at the point when Patrick Mahomes came out of the game. Oddly enough, that same score. Or no, it was 41-0, I think, is when Patrick Mahomes left the game. And, because it was the last touchdown pass to Travis Kelce when he did his dance. They finally got him that touchdown with Taylor Swift in the audience to put him up 41-0. And then the Bears scored 10 points in the fourth quarter. So it's been since then, since the Chiefs have had this. And one thing I wanted to get your thoughts on, Field, and you addressed it a little bit there, is, this offense over the last 5 weeks is the number one offense in total offense and points scored, and now they've got Rashee Rice. Is this now the expectation around the league, I would say, or from you and from other analysts, of this is now the Chiefs you would expect week in and week out offensively, and it is not a hot couple 2-3 games where we've had these conversations before. Is the Chiefs offense back? Like, is it now? All right, there's no need to ask the question each week. Like, this is the Chiefs offense being back, and this is what we came to know and love of the Chiefs offense from 2018 to 22.
Yeah, the Chiefs offense is back, and this is my expectation going forward, while noting there is a little bit more meat left on the bone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that meat involves the running game, because the running game, again, as I mentioned, remains pedestrian. I'm not sure it matters. Where I do think there is potentially more meat on the bone is this. I would always take an offense that can grind out 10-play drives methodically over an offense that just wins with vertical shots left and right, and you hit enough of them that you score a bunch of points. But there's still not really a lot of – so I would prefer how the Chiefs got the job done yesterday, which is just methodically dominating on offense. But there might be some opportunities for some vertical shots as well. Tyquan Thornton was the target of at least one vertical shot yesterday from Patrick Mahomes. I still wonder if that's a lever they have to pull with Xavier Worthy, especially if he's going to take kind of a backseat to Rashee Rice as the number one receiver in this offense. And while, again, the Chiefs don't necessarily need those vertical shots, given how well they're playing on offense, they can be quite demoralizing to a defense because a game that can be, you can have a solid start, be within a field goal or a touchdown, and just one play later, next thing you know, it feels like a game that has quickly gotten out of reach. So to me, there's even more opportunity for growth for this offense. Rashee Rice has knocked off some of the rust. He should be even better going forward. I think he only averaged 6 yards a catch yesterday, so more opportunities for explosive plays for him as well. So absolutely expect this to be the standard going forward, and what a great opportunity to do it next Monday night because they play against the Commanders team that is, in part because of health, for sure, lost its way. They're now 3-4. They are very limited on offense and could be without Jaden Daniels, but the defense has been a problem for a lot of this year. This defense had some magic last year. A lot of that magic has been gone throughout this season. They are not nearly as they're not opportunistic. As opportunistic is the word I'm looking for here as they were last year. Sacks, turnovers, things like that are way down compared to where they were last season. And when the offense is, much closer to average than near the very top of the NFL as compared to where it was last year, it's going to be the reason why you fall to 3-4 as opposed to the team in 2024 who they were the miracle, the darling, the sweetheart team of the NFL.
Visiting with Field Yates from ESPN, I looked at a few stats before the show and yesterday after the game was over, and just looking at pre-halftime against the Giants and post-halftime against the Giants in Week 3 when the Chiefs talked about, getting together, having that meeting at halftime, Creed Humphrey, leading the meeting. And before that, they had possessions where they averaged 2.1 points per possession. And since then, they're averaging 4.2. They've had 33 possessions since halftime against the Giants. They've scored 18 touchdowns in the 33 possessions. And Field, they've scored 10 touchdowns in their last 14 drives with Patrick Mahomes as quarterback.
Yeah, it's silly.
I mean, what they're doing right now. And one of the things I wanted to ask you, Field, is I don't think Mahomes did this on purpose the first few weeks. That's now setting up what we've seen the last couple. And that is, he was scrambling because that's what they had, their offense. He was having to pull everybody along the way against the Chargers and the Eagles. And it's he can't be the leading rusher on this team the whole season. But he was, getting out of the pocket and running to pick up first downs. I don't think he did that to set up this. But the last couple of weeks, Field, we've seen Patrick Mahomes get out of the pocket or scramble around while looking down the field to find guys. And I think because teams are so aware that Mahomes is scrambling and picking up yards with his legs, the Raiders over-adjusted. When Mahomes got outside the pocket, the Raiders panicked, and they got outside of their zone, and there was wide-open guys when Mahomes would escape. Thornton with the 44-yard catch. Travis Kelce, the first drive, that 39-yard catch when Mahomes got out and found Kelce wide open. There were a number of those, and I wonder now, Field, do teams have to sort of be, a little bit pregnant with Patrick Mahomes? It's he's getting outside the pocket, but I can't leave my spot in the zone because he's looking to throw. Oh, crap, he's now tucking it, and now he's picked up 10 yards.
Yeah, you got to decide what sort of way you're going to live with, right? And Patrick is, I would say, at the top of the NFL in terms of decision-making outside of the pocket, knowing when to tuck and run and knowing when to buy an extra second more, and then eventually make a throw down the field. Even the throws that look like high risk, Patrick executes. There was a throw across his body and across the field to Xavier Worthy yesterday, which resulted in a first down. Worthy had been held on the play, so it's possible that Patrick saw the flag on the field and knew that he kind of had a free one in his back pocket. But even that play, I'm like, I don't know, 9 out of 10 quarterbacks, I'm thinking to myself, what on earth are you doing? And Patrick does it, and I'm like, I don't know where this is going to end up, but probably somewhere it's supposed to be. I said on NFL Live maybe a week or two ago that I thought that Patrick had weaponized his legs this year better than ever before. And it's not design runs. As a matter of fact, at one point, just a couple weeks ago, Patrick had a total of 2 designed runs, which is not the reason why his legs are working so well. It's being this sort of quandary for defensive players is if you're, the only player between a quarterback who can run and a receiver who is downfield, what do you do, right? Do you allow Patrick Mahomes to get 10 or 12 yards and scramble for the first down, or do you leave your man and try to attack Patrick Mahomes and see if you can mitigate the run, knowing that he might just throw the football? It's really a pickle for a defensive player to find himself in. And, I would say the other thing that stands out to me about the offense on top of Patrick and weaponizing stuff is, the swagger is back, right? I know it's kind of a subjective term and a difficult thing to try to quantify, but like when they're down at the goal line and they're running these goofy formations where Gardner Minshew is on the field and Patrick's in a 3-point stance, like that tells you how things are going. And the play, which did Patrick admit after the fact that this never bleeping works was a wrinkle that they put in there by design?
Yeah.
Or
yep.
Okay.
And he said he learned his acting from the State Farm commercials, so that's where he got that from. So I guess it's.
But those kind of things to me tell you that, like, listen, when you're grinding through games like they were early in the season, you don't have enough time in the week to think about some of that stuff because you're too busy trying to execute the fundamentals. Now they're clicking at a high enough level in the fundamentals that. Do you want to get goofy and throw a this never bleeping works? Like that's awesome. That to me tells you how well-oiled this machine is right now on offense.
Yeah, I've always wondered why teams don't do, and I don't know that you need this bleep never bleeping works. I don't know that you need that, but why teams don't get up there and be like, we're going to try to draw them off sides, but here's the play that we're going to run when it gets down to like 3 seconds on the play clock.
Yeah.
And we're going to do all this different motion. Then I'm going to be from the shotgun. I'm going to run up and try to, get them offside, snap the ball, and then sort of, get a little lackadaisical or whatever, kind of look like we're done, and then snap the ball and give it to the running back when that team sort of lets up a little bit. But in that game, it didn't really feel like the Chiefs needed the trick plays on 4th down because they were just picking up, any short yardage situation and first down after first down. Field Yates is our guest from ESPN. I joked about in the first hour that, we spent like 30, 40 minutes talking about the offense and what we saw. And then we finally got around to the Chiefs posting a shutout defensively in the game. How complete, injuries are always a part of this and attrition throughout the season. But as it stands right now, not knowing what the MRI on Trey Smith's back is or whatever's going on with Josh Simmons, how complete is this Chiefs team in your mind?
Yeah, they're right up there near the top of the NFL. They're now, I believe, Super Bowl favorites at almost every book. Patrick is now the MVP favorite at almost every book as well. And not that the books always have it right, but I think the books are a good pulse of the league. And, if the game was played or whoever they play now, I don't care where it is, what time it is, what the elements are, there's no team that I think is a clear-cut favorite against the Chiefs. They have rounded into form beautifully. There is some good competition. They're still tied for, I guess, technically third. They are now third in the AFC West, only a game back of Denver and tied with the Chargers, but down in the head-to-head tiebreaker. There's good competition in the AFC, but, every game, once you get into the playoffs, is it's do or die, and there's no team that I trust to keep chugging more or keep plugging away more than the Chiefs. They have, this is a good reminder that, if you want to wait until 12 or 13 to say the Chiefs' struggles might be real, go for it, week 12 or week 13. But those who make a habit out of it in September and October are almost always going to be proven wrong because this team, yes, they've got work to do, and their margin for error is a little bit lower compared to where it's been in previous seasons, but they're right back to where they want to be, wins and loss-wise or not. This team is, I think, playing as well as they probably can hope to play at this juncture of the season.
Yeah, it is interesting where, the early season struggles that this team is technically not in the playoffs right now, but the Super Bowl betting favorite. So they're the 8th seed, but the favorite to win the Super Bowl. No, not really. Field Yates from ESPN is our guest. We talked early in the season, Field, about potential running back trades. And after that, I sort of switched my focus to defensive line and defensive end of like who would be available. And that's what I've kind of focused on the last few weeks. We're hearing more and more that the Chiefs, if they are going to make a trade, it would be more for a defensive lineman, whether that be edge or now with Omar Norman Lott leaving the game, maybe that's defensive tackle. Have you heard anything of the Chiefs shopping for defensive linemen? And if so, are there names out there that people should keep an eye on that the Chiefs may go out and get?
I haven't heard anything specifically, which does not indicate that they won't be in the market. I think that they've shown themselves as aggressive buyers every single year and being opportunistic buyers as well. Because the NFL moved the trade deadline back a few years ago, it's opened up, I think, a more active, just generally active trade market. There are going to be pieces available. I think we've reached the point now where many teams know this ain't our year. And to me, I am always in the business of, if you can get future assets for a team that's going nowhere, it's a smart piece of business to consider. So nothing would surprise me, especially with how much trade activity we have already had this NFL regular season. It suggests that GMs are more willing to do business than they were probably a decade or 2 decades ago. So nothing would surprise me with the Chiefs and going out there and making a play for somebody.
Yeah, they've got 2 games left before the trade deadline. Trade deadline will happen 2 days after they play the Bills. So it'll actually happen on their bye week, the trade deadline. So we'll see what happens with that. Field, before we let you go, what's this Commanders team without Jaden Daniels? And apparently Dan Quinn said that he wanted to return to the game. But at that point, no reason to risk it because of how the game was. Although those of us that had over 8.5 rushing attempts and Jaden Daniels had 8 would have liked to see him return. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not saying I don't know who would have that, but still.
Yeah, somebody, hypothetically, yes.
This Commanders team, the Chiefs are 10-point favorites. If Jaden Daniels plays, what kind of team are they? And can they come into Arrowhead and win on Monday night?
They would be swimming upstream we're talking about a heavy current going the other direction as well. Defensively, they are just bereft of playmakers right now. On offense, the backfield it's been okay this year. They have an interesting rookie in Bill Krosky-Merritt, but the running game is not good enough to kind of keep the Chiefs off the field and slow the game down like you sometimes hear when backup quarterbacks are in the mix. And they might not have Terry McLaurin or Deebo Samuel next Monday night. So this would be one where this is one of those games that looked very enticing when the schedule was released in May. It's possible by the time we get to kickoff come Monday night, not for Chiefs fans, but for people outside of Kansas City, this game has just a little bit less luster on it. So I expect the Chiefs to hold serve.
We'll see what happens. Field Yates from ESPN NFL Insider. Field, you're the man. Very much appreciate the time. Enjoy the football. We will talk next week.
Sounds good, my friend. Talk to you then.
Absolutely. There's Field Yates. Great stuff from him, as always. ESPN NFL Insider with us here on Sports Radio 810 WHB in the Zone. We'll take a timeout. We will take a timeout. Can we fix that in post? Let's just do that again. 3, 2, and 1. It's Field Yates joining us on this Monday edition. We will continue. One more segment here. Noon, we'll get back into some Chiefs overall as well, and then we'll hear from Andy Reid at 12:30. Mick Schaefer, 1 o'clock. Learn Funniest Best, 1:30. More Zone next. Thank you to Field Yates from ESPN NFL Insider. Interesting stuff from Field. You know, the rest of the league kind of poo-pooing and dismissing the Chiefs' performance because they beat the Raiders the way that they did. But you can't dismiss, no matter what, if you're unbiased, you can't dismiss how dominant the game was in all facets, especially offense, defense. I mean, special teams was only there to kick field goals. You didn't need a rise until Minshew came in the game, except a hold for the extra points. But you can't deny how dominant that game was against the Raiders. That, you know, we've seen there are teams that are winless, or at least team that's winless. The Raiders have 2 wins. Okay, they beat the Patriots and they beat the Titans, so they've got a couple of wins on the season. But asking Field Yates, like, what do you take away from that game? What did they look like? And he said, quote, "They looked like the best team in the NFL." I mean, I thought that. But what do the national analysts think? They look like the best team in the NFL. You know, you've got other people that are saying, like, I think like McAfee this morning tweeted out, said, the Chiefs aren't still the Chiefs. They're better. Because his theme the last 3 weeks have been, Chiefs is still the Chiefs. Chiefs is still the Chiefs. And then he tweeted out after the game yesterday, said, the Chiefs aren't still the Chiefs. They're better than what they've been the last couple of years.
I have not been this excited about a Chiefs offense since 2022 and maybe before. That may be going back to like 2019-ish.
Yeah.
I think 18? That's the outlier when they averaged 35 a game. I don't know if it's quite that. But, I mean, when you look at this Chiefs team, so many areas and ways they can beat you. And, again, you're right. The confidence that any time they have the ball, they're going to score. It's just a matter of time.
They've got 4 straight games where they average 28, or where they've scored 28 or more points. 4 straight games. They did that 5 times total last year, including the playoffs. 5 games, 28 or more points, 4 straight this year. All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Coming up later on this hour, we'll hear from Andy Reid, his press conference on a Monday. Hear what he has to say about watching the film from the Chiefs and the dominant win over the Las Vegas Raiders, 31-0, and what the update may be on some of the injuries. I don't know that we'll get an update on injuries since we'll probably hear, I haven't talked to Rick yet. Some of the guys just getting in or whatever. If there's, I would hope there could be some sort of finding in the MRI with Trey Smith. I don't think you have to wait for today to get an MRI for Trey. He doesn't have to call around to get in to a doctor to get an MRI done. They're not scheduling something where, well, actually the earliest we can get you in is November 15th. No, he could get the MRI last night. All right. And then they'll see the results of it quickly. So he doesn't have to talk to Rick to see what Trey Smith's MRI results are with the back that, quote, locked up. What Omar Norman Lott's injury is with the MRI, with the knee. But I don't know that we'll get an update on those today from Andy Reid. But we'll hear from him coming up later on this hour. Mick Schaefer joins us in the 1 o'clock hour. Learn Funniest Best still to come as well. I appreciated a couple of things that Field Yates said when we were talking to him about, this team and, him saying, not only did they look good, they looked like the best team in the NFL. And asking him about the offense, just as in our conversation in the first hour, it took a while before we got to the defense, which is amazing in a shutout. And a team that ran, 30 plays in the game. And a team that had, as many or more first downs than the other team had plays that they even ran in the game. But he talked about the offense, and he said, as good as it looked yesterday, he said, I feel like there's even more meat on the bone with this team. Like, they're playing great, but they haven't had, even in this game, they haven't had that deep shot connection that they've talked about doing. The last couple of games, they had it early on when they hit Thornton against the Eagles and things like that.
They hit Thornton for 39 in this one.
But that was a scramble, though. That was they took the deep shot with Thornton down the field. Yeah. But that was, Mahomes stepping up in the pocket, then going to his right, and then Thornton busting open because it's a zone, and it took a little bit.
Do we count Noah Gray's 28-yarder?
I don't count that. I think what he's talking about is Worthy, Thornton, just simply beating the guy on the outside and then throwing it down the field to those guys. They've attempted a number of them, and that was his point, is that they've attempted them, and he wants to see them continue to attempt those plays, but start to hit on those plays. He also offered the caveat and said, I'd rather have an offense that's more trusted to do what the Chiefs did in the game, which is continual, efficient drives time after time where you're picking up chunk yards without saying, well, this offense is, boom or bust, that they can go 3 and out, but they can also hit an 80-yard touchdown at any time. You never know what's going to happen. It's like, I'd rather see what the Chiefs are doing, but his point of there's still some meat on the bone with what they can do because Worthy and Thornton offer that speed. But when will they be able to take advantage of that? How many games playing this efficient offensively will they need to have before teams go, we have to adjust, and we can't let them just keep killing us from 8 to 15 yards. Just have to adjust from that. And if we get beat, we get beat. But is it better to take our chances on a deep throw down the sideline that has a lesser percentage chance of being caught, or here's an open Rashee Rice or an open Kelsey or an open Worthy or an open Juju or an open Hollywood Brown? Like, what are you going to do with taking your chances? Because even like in this game, when it's wide receivers are divas, right? They've got their egos about them. And you never know what a wide receiver room is going to look like that is as deep as this when you've got a bunch of guys that can put up numbers on certain days. But that second touchdown, to me, was sort of a reminder of, oh, yeah, this is how good this offense is when Rashee Rice has been talked about all week. Xavier Worthy is certainly there as a guy that can be a difference maker. Kelsey has the big 39-yard reception on the opening drive. And they went cover 0, and a quick little win for Hollywood Brown and a touchdown. Like, oh, yeah, that's right. They still have Hollywood Brown. that can win one-on-one if need be.
So easy. And
Yeah.
I think the yak ability is what makes this offense look a lot better. That helps a lot with Rashee Rice being back. Just it moves everyone down a peg. But you see Rashee Rice, he's able to take a 3-yard catch for 8 yards. I think Brashard Smith also brings some of that to the equation as well, where we saw early there was some of those checkdowns and screens that went for 2 yards to Pacheco or Kareem, now went for a first down. They ran 3 straight screen passes out of the – and I didn't love how conservative it was at first, but that third one, Brashard Smith, wasn't it to Brashard, I believe?
Yeah.
Picked up the first down.
Picked up the first down on, 3rd and 14? Whatever it might have been.
And you just saw
Picked up more than the first down. It was a bad spot.
It was, I think it was 17. It was as long. I would imagine that's that play. I guess I'm impressed by some of the yak ability of these guys. Brashard brings that to the equation. Rashee Rice brings that. Juju Smith-Schuster, his 28-year-old knees going on 82, somehow is still able to get some yak because Hollywood's not really that guy. Hollywood has shown great hands, right?
Yeah.
And he's been good in the red zone, but he's not a big yak guy. Xavier Worthy hasn't traditionally been a big yak guy. He's been very fast, and he can catch the ball deep down the field. But when you add Rashee Rice back, it just opens up the offense. And I do think adding more Brashard Smith, as we alluded to in the first hour, it just opens up so many more things. It's just another guy that defenses have to be honest about, especially in the pass game.
Yeah, also with them having Hollywood Brown, I would like Hollywood Brown to have a little more ball security on 3rd down and 1. You caught the ball. I mean,
that was LaShawn McCoy.
It was, and DeMarcus Robinson. Like, DeMarcus Robinson always used to, for whatever reason, run like that. LaShawn McCoy, he would have the ball out away from his body, but it would still be, tucked inside his, forearm. This was Hollywood catching the ball and turning around and just holding it like the loaf of, what are you doing, dude? Tuck it away. And they're reaching to the ball. I'm like, dude, that's going to be, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, he's going to fumble this football.
Yeah.
And he did. And luckily Xavier Worthy was there to recover, and they end up getting a touchdown. Because there were a couple of bigger plays on that drive that it wasn't easy for them to go down and score the touchdown because they had the 3rd and 14. They were close to going 3 and out to start the second half in a game where they were just doing anything they wanted. Because they had the incomplete pass, and then Pacheco, the little swing pass that they lost 4 yards on, and then 3rd and 14, you've got Brashard Smith that picked up the 14-yard, should have been 15 or 16 because he got past the first down, but picks up the 14-yard screen for the first down. Then the 3rd and 1, Hollywood Brown fumbles, and then they don't have another 3rd down after that. They end up, scoring the touchdown on the 7-yard run by Isaiah Pacheco to go up 28-0. So it capped off the, touchdown, halftime touchdown that they were able to do in back-to-back weeks that they're able to do that with the touchdown, halftime touchdown. Why you go and
it's why you
defer.
Do that. Defer.
Yeah, and the Lions wanted to receive the ball to make some sort of a statement of our offense is going to be out here and do whatever we want and run it down your throat, and they did that the first drive. But the Chiefs certainly, adjusted, obviously. But, that 3rd and 14 for the Chiefs, the ball that was deflected, and Juju Smith-Schuster caught it. If he doesn't catch it, well, there's a field goal. You're up 17-0. And if Brashard Smith doesn't pick up that first down on 3rd and 14, well, you're coming out 3 and out, and you're punting, and you're up 17-0 instead of 28-0. They still win the game, right? They still take care of business, and the defense is still playing the way the defense is playing. So it's not like they would have lost the game, but we might have seen Mahomes more in the fourth quarter. It wouldn't have been as much of a party and just a complete and total dominant destruction beatdown of the Raiders. And I brought this up with Field Yates, and he said something, and I wrote it down because I love the way that he said it. Because we were talking about Mahomes scrambling, and Mahomes did not do this early in the season to set up what he's doing now. But early in the season, we know Mahomes was scrambling because that was the offense. Like he had to pick up yards with his legs because that's the way it was getting done.
Yeah.
And so there was also a lack of trust with the offensive line early on, but he was running the football, leading the team in rushing yards, all of that. And I think what has happened is teams are seeing Mahomes do that, and they know he's going to run the football, so then you adjust to it and you see him tuck the football or get out of the pocket. So now you've got to come up and make a play. Well, now he's not doing that. He's not scrambling or getting outside the pocket to then run the football. He's scrambling, getting outside the pocket while looking down the field, which is creating open lanes and open receivers. And I said, he didn't do it early on to then get teams to think he's going to run it. So then later on, now he can really trick them. He was doing whatever was there. Now he's doing what he's typically done in his career, which is scramble to throw the ball. And Field Yates said, quote, Mahomes has weaponized his legs right now more than ever before. And I thought that was a great way to frame it. Because he has. Because he's weaponized his legs in terms of picking up first downs and rushing the football when need be. But now he's weaponized his legs in getting outside and people thinking he's going to do that. And now you hit Tyquan Thornton for a 44-yard gain. Now you hit Travis Kelce down the right sideline for 39 because that zone is vacated because people are thinking you're going this way or that way. Now you hit Xavier Worthy. He came back for the football and caught it with sort of a jump ball. But, not many quarterbacks are making that throw. Also, shout out Xavier Worthy that needs to get more and more credit for being an actual wide receiver and not just a guy that has straight line speed because he had to come back and be strong and make that catch.
And what did I say?
What did you say?
In the Jacksonville game.
I don't know. What did you say?
The very end of it.
Duval.
When they had a couple of snaps, and we saw earlier in that game Tyquan Thornton come back for a ball.
Yeah.
And at the end of that game, I said, I probably wouldn't have mattered. I don't think he would have caught it, but it was an incompletion, and we saw Xavier Worthy not come back for a deep ball, and it was easily batted down. And I go, I bet there's going to be a teaching moment in there where next time he's going to come back for the ball. I guarantee you they're going to go over that in the wide receiver in film room and say, Xavier, you got to come back for that one. It's just too long. It's going to hang in the air too much. And we saw him come back for that ball. And that, to me, was great to see because that was a teaching moment and a learning moment, taking a loss against Jacksonville, seeing something that you did, again, a very small, minuscule thing. But how can you improve? And we saw it used in game action against the Raiders. That's why I was so enthusiastic about him coming back for the ball. And, oh, by the way, Butker was perfect. It was lovely to see.
He's back.
I have one question.
What's the question?
In the fourth quarter, it was early in the fourth quarter, very early in the fourth quarter. They were up 31-0. Game was already over, and clearly Gardner was in the game. But he had just gotten the game. And now on that drive, they had the ball at the 38-yard line of Vegas. It would have been about a 55-ish yarder, and they punted.
You want to end the game on a perfect day for Harrison Butker.
That's what I was thinking.
You don't want to end the game him missing that field goal, and then that's what he's thinking about all week.
I was wondering if that was. I was like 55 yards. Like, do you throw him out there because you're up 31-0, so there's not any pressure, and you could just let him go out and kick, or do you let him finish the game perfect? Well, I was going back and forth on that. I noticed that, though.
I think it's twofold, though, because they were already up 31-0, and Andy Reid's heart goes out to Pete Carroll.
There was 13 minutes and 23 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
Felt so bad about them beating him down the way that they did that I'm not even going to kick a field goal here. We're going to punt. We're not going to attempt a 50-yard field goal. So, one, I'm not going to run it up on the Raiders, Pete Carroll. Two, Butker's made every extra point, made his field goal. Let's get out of here with a perfect game. Hadn't kicked the ball out of bounds. Like it's a perfect game so far for Harrison Butker. Let's do that. And then late in the game, we saw him go for it on 4th and goal from like the 4-yard line or whatever and just hand it off up the middle, which, again, he didn't want to kick the field goal and run up the score. That was actually the polite thing to do, was handing it off to Brashard Smith up the middle to not run up the score. Because
a gentleman's game.
Yes. His heart goes out to Pete Carroll. He feels bad for Pete Carroll in that game. I think there's a couple of reasons why. Only Andy Reid would know the real reason. But I think there's a couple of theories on that, punting it when it would have been a 50-something yard field goal.
55-ish.
Yeah.
And
up 31-0. If they're up 14-0, he probably kicks it.
I just wanted to see, because those are the ones that he had been struggling on all year long. Again, when we look at Harrison Butker, it's been extra points and really 55-plus yarders. It's not like he's missed a lot of chippies. I don't know, he missed, 140-yarder, 130, whatever it was. I don't have it in front of me, but it's been the 55-plus almost. I was intrigued in game action where it doesn't come back to hurt you. Even if he misses it, there's no harm, no foul. It was something I wanted to monitor. It's something I'm monitoring, I guess, was that.
Yeah, you should monitor that. Let's hear from, let's play clip number 6 here. This is Travis Kelce. He talked after the game. It's a fun game. Good game. Travis Kelce. Here's Travis Kelce post-game at his locker after the beatdown of the Raiders.
Back out on the field, and how much does that spark the offense?
I was saying it earlier, man. We just love that guy. His presence is felt whenever he's in the building. So it's been good to have him around the past week or two, but even more so now that we can dial some plays up for him and get him going, and just it feels good to have the full game of the offense. Obviously, we got a little banged up front today, but get those guys healthy, man. We're off and running.
When the defense puts up a shutout like that, how fired up are you for that group to see how hard they work during the week and see it?
It's hard in the NFL to put up a goose egg, man. And obviously hats off to Spags and what the defense has been doing, but we got faith in those guys to get the job done no matter what. And sure enough, I know this would be a good one for them to hang their hats on.
We'll go a couple more.
Andy Reid had never had a regular season shutout with the Eagles or the Chiefs. Is it shocking to know that he's never had a shutout?
Damn, who told you that one? Are you sure about that?
Yeah, you guys shut out the Texans in the playoffs in the wild card round.
That was it?
Never had a regular season shutout.
Man, I could have swore we had another one. Oh, well. Well, shout out to Coach Reid. Add it to the list of things that, he's accomplished.
Last one?
Love him for it.
After 3 drives, Mahomes had over 200 yards, 3 touchdown passes. When you guys are operating at such a high level, what's that like to be out there?
Man, I think it's just a glimpse of what you're going to see from here on out. We're going to get even more and more in sync with having everybody, like I said, having the full gamut, having the full arsenal. And, as long as we all keep playing unselfish and getting excited for each other, sky's the limit for this group, baby.
Can you critique Pat's acting on that second quarter play where he was acting like something was screwed up?
Perfection. We got the first. That's all that matters.
Thanks, Travis.
Right, good game.
It's a State Farm. It's the State Farm performance. He's learned how to act by doing those things.
You want your quarterback doing commercials for that reason.
Yes.
This is why you want your quarterback doing commercials.
All the complaints about Patrick Mahomes and the commercials, it all comes down to this. Let's play clip number 5 there, and take a listen again to a really enjoyable part of the game yesterday.
Tried to draw him offside. Sorry. Mahomes says, Coach, it doesn't
there they go.
work. He was faking it.
There they go.
Got you.
You would give it up on that one. You thought for sure it was a draw, didn't you?
Andy Reid.
Draw him offside.
Unbelievable. Pete Carroll even knows this. We're going to make you think we're trying to draw you off sides, and then we're going to go ahead and take a downward punt. And then he goes, and Mahomes goes, gosh, it never works. It never stinking works.
That's what he said. It never stinking works. We had to bleep it out there because, stinking, we don't want that out over the air.
You know what's great? Next time in that situation, you can do the same thing, go back up, and then pretend to snap
now you can maybe draw him offsides.
And now you actually might get the offsides penalty.
Yeah.
I mean, that opened up an array of options now, and Andy loves putting stuff on tape.
Yeah.
That's now on tape.
Yeah, right. And I had heard some people go, well, why would you use that there, right? Well, wouldn't you save that for a different time? And yeah, for sure, you could save that for a different time because in that game, 1, they didn't really need it at that point, and 2, they didn't need it just in general that game because they were picking up every short yard situation except for the 3rd and 1 that got stopped before that 4th down and 1 in which they used the fake cadence and the acting there. But to your point, now it can create to draw somebody off sides. It's what they tried to do when they had Blake Bell running the Belldozer when they weren't going to run a quarterback sneak, and they tried the tush push with Blake Bell, and he was at tight end, and he would go in motion with Mahomes at shotgun. Blake Bell would run in motion and then get behind the center and then snap the ball, and it wasn't really working. And we had talked about, it's like, get under center real quick and do a hard count. And they did. And the guy jumped off sides. And they didn't snap it. And he got back on side.
I do remember that, actually.
And then they snapped it. Like, what are you doing? That's what you did it for. Snap the ball. Doesn't matter if it's a fumble or not. Just snap the ball.
Going back to Kelce real quick, I thought that his blocking in the run game was impeccable. I thought that he had so many great opportunities to showcase. He's not just a great wide receiving tight end, obviously. We all know that. But some of his blocks in this game, some of those wham blocks that they were running to help open up and spring some guys open, I was thoroughly impressed with Kelce at, age 36, doing and getting down there and just – I've always found the narrative that he's a bad blocker to be false. I'm not saying he's the best blocking tight end in the NFL by any means. I get that. But I think it was just clearly false when people said he's a bad blocking tight end. And if you want good tape of what he can do, if you want to send that into Canton at some point for his Hall of Fame, what he was like in run block, I thought yesterday, not last night, it was a noon game, yesterday was a great example of what Kelsey does as a complete tight end.
Yeah, and we'll hear from Andy Reid on the other side of the break. And with those blocks from Kelsey, as you called them, the wham blocks, that would be where everybody's like, hey, Andy, on 4th down, wake me up before you go for it. Was that good? Was that
He
bad?
was going solo one-on-one with someone to block.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And a couple of years ago, they were lamenting Last Christmas.
Give you my heart.
Yeah, and the very next season,
they ripped it apart.
That's exactly right. All right, let's done with this. Done with it. I apologize. Typically, I don't. That one I apologize
for. It's too late to apologize. We know that.
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy. We'll talk with Mick Schaefer coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. Learn funniest best with Mick Schaefer. Let's hear from Andy Reid in his Monday press conference. Here is Andy's opening statement.
I don't have really any reports for you on the finalization of the injury stuff. I'll get that later here, so I'll be able to do that, give it to you later, so, or whatever, whenever we normally give it to you. I'm proud of our guys for how they played. They came out all 3 phases, and I thought really did a nice job against a team that was getting better each week before we had this chance to play them. So it was, they just come off a nice win and had some momentum going there. And I thought our guys came out and really were able to stay aggressive, both defensively and offensively from the start, and which I thought was important. And then our fans jump in on that, and that's a tough ask for a team to come into. So, and I mean, there are a bunch of individual things that I could address, just from Pat's day to the offensive line's day to Kelsey had a few catches, and getting Rasheed back in there I thought was tremendous. The energy that he brings, along with Xavier and the other guys. I mean, it's contagious. And then for a defense to shut out an NFL offense is very rare. Just by the stat that you guys threw out there of I've never been a head coach and had a shutout. That's I've coached a couple of years, and for that to happen, that's obviously got to be a tough thing to do. So, but my hat goes off to Spags and his game plan, their coaches, and the coaches on the defensive side, and then our players just really amping it up. So that's a nice feat for our defense. And then special teams was, you could see Bucker's kicking the ball well, and that's a positive, along with Ariza. So, and I thought our coverage teams were good likewise, and return teams. So all in all, it was a good day. As far as Josh goes, I don't have any updates for you. Veach is handling everything there. And so we just move on with that. All right. Time's yours.
All right, so there you go with Andy Reid. No injury up. The main thing from there is no injury update, and Josh Simmons, no update with that, and Veach is handling all that.
So quit asking.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, I think he knew at that point, because Jack and I were talking off the air, and it was like, is Andy going to get asked about Josh Simmons today? I'm like, well, yeah, he has to, because he didn't play yesterday, and now it's a new week. Is there an update on Josh Simmons? Do you think he'll play? And so, it's, what, I don't have anything on Josh Simmons. Veach is handling all that. Next time they talk is Thursday. I think he'll probably start his press conference by saying, no update on Josh Simmons. So there you go. And don't ask me about it. I don't know how many times and how long it's going to be where he probably feels he has to start the press conference with no update on Josh Simmons. Probably until there's news. Probably until there's some information that's public that people know about as to what's going on, which can then color in the timeline a little bit more. Like, is this something, like, what is the timeline? Because right now there is no timeline, which means it could be Sunday. And if it's Sunday, well, then let's ask if there's an update on Josh Simmons. But knowing they're going to ask that, you start off with, there is no update on Josh Simmons. And does he do it again on Saturday with the Fast Friday? That's going to be on Saturday, where Andy Reid talks for a couple of minutes. Well, there is no update on Josh Simmons. or asked, hey, is Josh Simmons, do you think he'll be playing on Monday? If in that point he's not back yet. Whenever information comes out, I think Andy will probably start that press conference with that information. And then there will probably, more than likely, be follow-ups along with that. But I have no idea when that's going to happen. And I would guess that, I can't even, I was going to say I would guess sometime soon, but I can't even guess sometime soon because soon is a relative term, and it's been, a couple of weeks now that we're talking about this, about is he going to play, is he not going to play, or I guess 8 days. So 2 games, but 8 days. Here is Andy Reid, some more. Sam McDowell asked Andy Reid about the running game.
Yeah, so all our running backs ran hard yesterday, all 3 of them. Kareem has got a real knack for that, and he's got great vision, and just he's always been good at that part of it. And and so having him back there that's a great thing. Having him on our roster is a great thing because he brings this veteran leadership and confidence to that group, which I appreciate. And he's seen a lot of things and been through a lot of things and does a great job of handling himself.
Andy, I'm glad you mentioned Pat's day and you said you could talk more about it. I just wondered what you did see watching the film and what Pat did.
Yeah, I think you saw him execute all the phases in the offense. So we have different categories there, whether it's play pass movements, whether it's 3-step drop, 5-step drop, concepts, and then all the screen game that goes with that. So we do a variety of screens, and I like the way he handled that. His checks were good at the line of scrimmage. When he had to put a little Hollywood into things, he did good with that and some of the tricky stuff, So I just thought he handled everything real well.
And then I want to ask you about Rashard Smith. Just what are you seeing with his progression?
Yeah, I think Matt's done a nice job, along with Todd and Mark of just bringing him along, and he had, I want to say 14 touches yesterday or so, and did a nice job with that. He's catching the ball well. Excuse me. He's catching the ball well, and I like where he's at now. He's in a good frame of mind, and he's picking things up. So we just keep coming with him.
The guy with 81 yards total on the day, Rashard Smith, 14 carries, 39 yards, 5 receptions, 42 yards on the day. Much better receiving day than rushing day. But to your point earlier, Sterling, when he was in there running the ball, there wasn't a 2-phase offense at that point. It was everybody knew they were just handing off. So the Raiders were up at the line of scrimmage knowing this was going to be a handoff, a run to Rashard Smith. So he was facing stacked boxes throughout the time he was running the football. Patrick Mahomes executed everything, all phases in the offense, the play action stuff, the 3, the 5-step drops, the screen game, the checks at the line of scrimmage, inserting some Hollywood to some of those, not Hollywood Brown, but Hollywood acting, that he handled everything well. Andy Reid continued as Serena asked him if he'd like to have a true number 1 running back.
Yeah, I've always believed you need 3 guys. I just think, we've normally used all 3 when we've had them. I've done that for a lot of years now, and they're all contributing in their own way. I think it's important for Pop to get in there and get going. He is the best when he does that. Kareem understands that, and Kareem gets to pick and kind of choose where he goes in there, or we're able to pick and choose where he goes in there. So, and then Smith gives you a whole different, it's a different deal because he had played the wide receiver position at Miami, so University of Miami before he got to SMU. So his ability to catch the ball and on screens and those type of things is good, and he's got the protections down now, so he can stand back there and still protect. He's not quite as strong as the other guys. If you had to pick something where he can get better at, he's going to need an off season to get even stronger than what he is to tote it every every play. So, but he'll work on that. He's a pretty diligent kid.
And then just to continue to ski in Jesse's wake here on his Patrick Mahomes question.
Sure.
You know, there's some Chiefs fans' ire has kind of been raised with some of the grades that some of the websites are putting out. And like right now, they have Patrick as the 14th best quarterback in the NFL. I know you don't get into that kind of stuff on the side, but do you see Pat as an average quarterback, or do you see him just to get you on the right? I know where you're going to go with this, but I gotta hear you say it to be able to play it. So, do you see him as an average quarterback, or do you see him as significantly better?
It's like you wearing a Notre Dame hat instead of a Syracuse hat.
That's for Grunhard today.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I think he's the best. But I mean, I'm partial. Obviously, we ask him to do so much stuff, and then just look at his game. I mean, look at his numbers. And how he contributes, how he gets everybody on the offense involved. I mean, he does that's him doing that, and he's got options on all that stuff. And he, he finds a way to get everybody the ball, and then his leadership, I think, is second to none.
Patrick Mahomes' PFF passing grade for yesterday was a 62.2. Because, there were some turnover-worthy plays in there, which get downgraded.
What about the,
Nope.
26 completions and the 3 touchdowns?
No. That was he got a 62%. Okay, that's what that grade was. Okay, we're not going to switch the grade around just because you don't like it. It's a D-. Okay? And Patrick Mahomes played a D- game there. Okay? So let's just all admit that Mahomes is built up around fluff and numbers that really any quarterback can pick up.
According to PFF, yeah.
Let's just admit that.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah,
wait, no.
What?
What was his grade?
62.2.
Was that his pass grade or overall?
That was his pass grade. His overall grade was 67.4.
You know what Geno Smith's pass grade was?
God, I can't wait.
67.2.
That's amazing. Geno Smith's overall grade was 67.2.
No. His pass grade. His overall was 56.
Geno Smith's pass grade was 67.2.
Higher than Patrick Mahomes.
62.2.
Makes sense, doesn't it? That's exactly. Yeah. If you have eyes, you see it the same way.
Yeah, for sure. Also, there is some breaking news that we want to get into. Andy Reid did not address this because he said there are no injury updates that he has. Ian Rappaport, in Andy Reid's stead, has an injury update, and that is Omar Norman-Lott suffered a torn ACL and is out for the season. So that is disappointing for Omar Norman-Lott in what has been already an injury-riddled, very short career so far. In his young career in the NFL, it has been really defined by injuries, and different injuries at that, at different times. So he now turns his attention to 2026, and the Chiefs should be turning their attention to the defensive line market, whether that be 3 technique, run stuffer, edge, whatever it might be. You've got 2 games left before the trade deadline. Commanders on Monday, Bills on Sunday, and then the trade deadline is on that Tuesday of the Chiefs bye week. So you got some time to figure some things out, and Diana Rossini putting in The Athletic her report that, different trade deadline rumors or what she's hearing, and that is the Chiefs are shopping for a defensive lineman, not a running back, as I've been talking about since week 2. That stop talking about running back. This team needs defensive line help and edge help, and that's what they should be looking at. Andy Reid continued in his press conference. He was asked what Hollywood Brown is bringing to the team.
Yeah, listen, I love him. He's one of those energy givers. He doesn't say a lot, but he just presents. There's a confidence there that he presents and makes you feel like I got it. I got everything under control. Dial me up, and that's that's a great thing to have. And when we have, again, we're mixing and matching here. So everybody's getting a chance, and when he gets a chance to with the ball in his area, he's coming down with his hands are phenomenal. So he does a nice job of that, and he's not the biggest guy, but he is fearless inside, which you don't see a lot of that in this league. And some of his best work happens in there, and I appreciate that.
Andy, my first question for you: over the past couple weeks, we talked about Andy Heck, focusing on the run and doing a good job there. Red zone with Veach and Joe Blamar and guys all having their areas. When you're trying to help these guys develop as offensive coordinators and potential head coaches down the road, how important for you is to give them these tasks to build themselves up to where they have a tool belt down the road if they get that opportunity?
Yeah, Nick, I think it's good for them in a few areas. It's always good to be accountable for something, and it makes your game even better. And so, as a coach and as a player, and so these guys have an area that they work and they dig in on. And Spags does the same thing on the defensive side as Matt does on the offensive side. So everybody has a piece of the pie here, and they take a lot of pride in that. And the players all know it. They know who kind of does what, and and they buy in. And so to be able to stand in front of a crew and to sell your product, man, that's not an easy thing to do, and then get results. And it's a great experience for them going forward, or whatever direction they decide to go.
And then on my second question here,
Yeah.
to go from the Lions game, playing that physical brand on a Sunday night, to playing a Sunday noon game and have that focus, level, and execution, where do you feel like this team kind of maybe set its new floor overall?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I should have addressed that first. Last night I mentioned that you're coming off a hard, you're coming off a emotional game against the Lions, good football team, and you're going against now a rival, and and it tells you, first of all, that you better be up every week. You can't have an off week in the NFL, and so. That part's a great teaching tool. I'll tell you what, I just got fined for that. That's a great teaching tool, and so that part of Nick, I just destroyed your question with the phone ringing, but it was a good question.
All right, so there's Andy Reid, and I think I would guess, here's my guess on this, is that they probably have some things in team meetings that if your phone rings, you get fined for it. And he's talking to the media, and his phone rings. I think that's not an NFL. I think that's an internal, well, I just got fined because my phone rang, and we fine players if their phone rings in the meetings, and everybody's held to the same standard, and I just got fined.
That's great.
Because my phone rang there. And I totally messed up your question, Nick, which was a great question about the team bouncing back from a Monday night football game, Sunday night, whatever, football game, and then returning to a noon kickoff against the Raiders and a rivalry, and then performing like that, not letting up at all. Let's take a time out. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the show, or this hour. I'm on Eastern time. It's 1:51 Eastern time, right?
We don't even have Mick in studio yet.
I know. I was kind of banking on me not having to talk to him today.
Oh.
We'll wrap up this hour of the show, is what I meant to say. And then there's one final clip from Andy Reid that I want to play with Mick Schaefer coming up in the 1 o'clock hour as he joins us. We'll take a time out. We'll come back. More Zone next. All right, wrapping up this hour. We'll talk with Mick Schaefer coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. Learn Funniest Best coming our way. One more clip from Andy Reid that we will hear tonight. Doubleheader, Monday Night Football, right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB with the Bucks and Lions. And then the Texans and the Seahawks tonight on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Some great games, man.
Yeah,
I like these double headers. I'm not going to lie, because if one's a blowout, then at least I have something else to look forward to.
ESPN Kansas City, Game 7 tonight. Seattle and Toronto, Game 7. That's on ESPN Kansas City tonight with the Monday Night Football doubleheader on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We'll talk with Mick Schaefer on the other side of the break. Learn Funniest Best. Here, one more clip from Andy Reid coming up next. Mondays, and he's presented by...
didn't bring us food.
That's fine. Advent Health Sports Park at Blue Hawk, where you can get food with that bar and grill and also experience world-class sports facilities, including an ice rink, turf field, state-of-the-art courts, arcade games, laser tag, bowling, sports simulators. It's all at Advent Health Sports Park at Blue Hawk, where sports and entertainment collide.
It's like Kansas City got together and said, hey, it's really warm out still.
Yeah, right.
This fall feels like summer. So let's tear up all the roads.
Well, yeah.
We're just going to tear them up all at the same time.
Every other roads. Yeah.
K-Dog was kind of complaining about that last night on Sunday Sound Off, and I'm like, I'm with you, K-Dog.
He's sounding off.
He was sounding out. That's the place to do it. You can say whatever there.
K-Dog on K-Dot?
Yes.
I'm told I can't say whatever because I hear Nick Jacobs saying a lot of things that I can't say on air.
When do you hear him say that?
Whenever I've done things like I can't say 2 scoops of ass.
No.
Nick Jacobs is
he's not the one
telling you
it.
saying you can't
he's
say
telling me
those.
what I can't say.
See, I heard
you
it
said
as
I could,
no.
You said I could say anything on air.
I did not say that.
You just did. Said it's sound off. You can say anything you want.
Oh, I did. That's right.
You did. You literally just said that, and so I go, no, you can't because I can't say 2 scoops of ass.
Yeah, he does. I think even Kay dropped an H-bomb last night.
H-E-double hockey sticks?
With the hockey sticks.
Wow.
And he said something else.
He said hecky?
I think he said damn.
Not hockey?
I've said damn once, and Nick Jacobs was like, don't worry, we'll be able to
I think he
lower
might
your
have
mic.
dropped it on
We'll be able to just
Curtis.
eliminate that
Yeah.
sound. I'm like,
So,
really?
he had some soft cussing. I'm like, don't you know by now? Don't. I'm fine with it. I don't care.
Yeah,
Can you say buns?
You should know by now.
Should be able to.
Easy does it.
Yeah. Maybe the context might matter.
Like
but
that. Like Geno Smith was buns yesterday.
No, I think it'd be like, I like to, cheeseburgers, I'm not big into carbs, but I'll eat the buns.
Yeah.
I think that's probably
What
more.
about cheeks?
Again, context.
Yeah.
Like if I said the Raiders' offense was cheeks.
Probably not. Or you could be like,
I don't think that's any different than buns.
Like, oh my God! Like I just Chris Jones and those chipmunk cheeks. Like he gets the sack and you just want to squeeze the cheeks.
That sounds way worse than what I said.
What are you talking about? Chipmunk cheeks?
You're talking about squeezing Chris Jones's cheeks, man.
Yeah, I know.
That seems way worse
with
than
his
what I
smile. Well, if you want to take it out of context and look at it that way, and if you want to not have fun, Andy Reid talked about how they work on those quote fun plays.
Yeah, listen, the guys enjoy those, and so if they're sound, that's where I've got the 51% on the thing. So, we practice them, and we feel like by the time we use them, they're part of the offense, and so we normally could pull them off. We had the one fail on us down there, but normally these things work, and that one, had we not botched it up a little bit there with a snap count and that, it would have, probably would have scored. So we gotta tighten that part up. But no, we practice these things and spend time at them. So,
Coach, I've heard you talk many times about like emotion on the sideline and stuff like that. And I noticed yesterday when the backups were in, like Travis Kelce was right up there, high-fiving defensive players coming off. When you're in the middle of a game, can you feel, because you've got so many other things going on, if you're getting what you want from the guys on the sideline there, and kind of how do you cultivate that, whether things are going good or bad?
Yeah, you can feel that. And so you see it in the preseason all the time, but you can feel it as a coach on the sideline. You feel when your guys are into it or not into it, and it's important if they're a little bit down that the coaches help out with that. But you don't have to do. These guys have good energy. So when I talk about a good rooms or a good energy on a team, those things are said because I feel those things from like what you saw, which is a good observation. But yeah, that's the guys they really support those young guys, which is a unique thing too.
I was trying to think back to the last time it felt like the Chiefs on the sideline were acting like that and having fun during a game. And I think it would be last year's Christmas Day against Pittsburgh when they came out. It was just like, all right, they're pretty upset, and they've got an opportunity.
That's a road. You don't have the home crowd behind you in that game.
But they were having fun on the sideline because that was then like, all right, now you can rest everybody next week.
They didn't have a whole quarter plus,
right,
like they did yesterday.
Did anyone ask if Chris Jones was drinking vodka on the sideline? Because that looked like he had a bottle of vodka.
Could have been water, the same clear liquid.
But did you see? Well, it wasn't a water bottle. It looked like a Grey Goose bottle.
Yeah.
Did anyone see that? No one else? I saw a couple people talk about it too. I'm like, yeah.
I've seen it before. He's had it like in a couple of different games where he breaks
It's like a
out.
glass bottle.
Yeah.
But it looks like a vodka bottle. And I'm like, wow, man, he just laugher, huh?
Nobody cheers harder for anybody else than the starters who are out cheering for backups. It's almost insulting at some point, right? I've been in that role before where I'm on the field and the starters, I'm like,
the walk-ons in there.
Yeah, it's not like you're cheering for me like I'm a baby going down a slide for the first time, okay?
Dude, the walk-on makes a three, and everybody goes crazy. It's like a game-winning shot. Oh, my God.
I get it. I'm not good as you. Can you just mute the cheering a little bit? Just cheer normal?
I said it's
like you're not totally surprised by what's going on here.
Is it more devastating? I know Andy kept like, I'm not gonna, he's not gonna rub it in.
No, he said my heart goes out.
My heart goes out to Pete Carroll. I'm not, he's not gonna rub it in, obviously. But isn't it more devastating when 8 seconds left in the third quarter, you put it in Gardner Minshew? Yeah. You could have waited for the fourth quarter.
I know, right?
You could have had one run play and then
you
put him in.
You could have had one 15-yard pass play from Mahomes.
But what?
To get him to 300.
But what you did was you made sure you put him in the third quarter. You started to kneel down before the 2-minute warning, knowing that you're going to give the ball back to the Raiders. I'm like, that actually might be more demoralizing than waiting the 8 seconds to put Gardner. Like that to me. Yeah. Run the score up. Don't put Gardner in the third quarter.
If any other coach is coaching that Chiefs game, right? They take Andy Reid's game plan and they're just out there being the head man. That's a 50-0 game. Right? I mean, he's the most least padded stats. Never going to run the score up. All his, coaching brethren are brothers-in-law to him. I mean, that's how lopsided that was. Andy never wins like that.
Now maybe this was Ben Johnson because they were not happy about maybe him going to the Bears in division, but the Lions were up 38-14 in the fourth quarter. And Jared Goff hit Amon-Ra St. Brown for a touchdown to put him up 45-14. And then with 8 minutes to go, they were up 45-21. And Jared Goff hit Amon-Ra St. Brown to put him up 52-21 in the fourth quarter with 8 minutes to go. And again,
did you see the Broncos game?
Yeah, maybe that was the Giants should have kept their foot on the pedal. But
and I'm fine with that, by the way.
Right, I'm totally fine with it.
It's big boy football. It's the NFL.
Totally fine with it. They're like, no, bleep that. You're still trying to score. We're still trying to score. We're going to be out there. They put 52 points on the Lions again, or on the Bears. Maybe it was the whole Ben Johnson thing, there with the Bears, and odd that Dan Campbell would be like, bleep you, Ben. I'm going to put 52 on you.
I'm glad, by the way. I don't know. Yeah, they were wanting to get Gardner a touchdown against the Raiders.
Clearly they were. I mean,
that long storied career he had with
Holmes'
them.
idea was to get Gardner Minshew a touchdown. Like, no, not for those of us that have 3+ touchdowns.
I'm so glad that play didn't work. I'm so glad that play didn't work.
Why?
Because I'm all about Mahomes touchdown passes this year.
I love
that as well.
I love Andy saying
all about
too.
Mahomes.
Did you hear that?
Mahomes. No,
that's
Gardner.
just something we're gonna have to tighten up. As if they're gonna run that play again multiple times.
Hey, I love that he's saying we're gonna have to tighten that up about that, and not about 5 special teams penalties or 3 turnovers or a defense that's just getting gashed and giving up points. I will take. That's what we're tightening up.
And you wanted to get him a touchdown so bad, he plays the entire fourth quarter and doesn't throw a football. He would not have been in the stat sheet. He would not have been in the box score except for the kneel downs, which makes it even fun. You're playing an entire quarter. But also when they handed it off to Brashard Smith on third or fourth down, I really wish they would have done play action. I know Andy's not going to do that probably, but fourth down, let Gardner get one chance. Slang the rock. Let Gardner Minshew have a chance to slang it all over the Raiders.
They went for it there to give the ball back to the Raiders.
I know.
That was going to be a gap. Here's what we're doing right here. We're going up the middle. If you don't stop us, then that's really on you. Give up points
all
here.
All we've done is hand off.
Yes.
we're going to hand off here. That's all we've been doing.
Play action. Gardner slings it. Big Bob Tunyon. Let's go.
He's the quarterback. He could always change it.
That's what I said. You know when
what are they going to do? Bench him?
The Saints did that. Remember Jameis Winston?
Shocker that Jameis Winston.
No, who was the quarterback? They wanted to kneel it, and Jameis was the quarterback, and they gave it to Jamal Williams for a touchdown because they wanted to see him score, I think is what it was. And, the coach was pissed because it was supposed to be like a kneel. Supposed to be a kneel down.
Yeah, because it comes back on the coach.
And they ended up scoring a touchdown, and Jameis was cracking up about it. So
it's like varsity blues. I mean, you got to get them into the end zone because Kilmer won't do it. I mean, every time they get it into the 20, they give it to, not Mox, but
Val Kilmer?
Yes, that's right, Bud Kilmer. But it's the same thing. They should have done that with Gardner clearly in that one, so Sterling would be happier about that. But I'm with Mick Schaefer. I'm glad that play didn't work because that should be a Mahomes touchdown. You don't take touchdowns away from Mahomes down inside at that area, whether those of us had 3+ touchdown parlays or not. You don't take those away from Patrick Mahomes because you're going to get him an MVP, and you want people to stop talking about how Mahomes has lost it and he's not as good. And you don't need Gardner Minshew to throw that.
Yeah, I want to see one of the. It doesn't have to be 50 touchdowns again, but I would love to see 5,045. And I think he's not yet pacing to those numbers, but I mean, the last 4 games he is.
Last 4 games. I mean, last 4 games.
And that's with a 1 touchdown night against Jacksonville.
Yep. The last 4 games, they are last 5 games. So the last 5 games, they are number 1 total offense, number 1 scoring offense, and the highest point differential in all of football at +71 in the last 5 weeks, and they're 4-1. And the one loss is the crazy Jacksonville game with the pick 6, and then the 3rd down conversions and penalties, and then Trevor Lawrence with the fall down, the stumble Ruski.
Dude, I was thinking. So I feel like they're gonna play the Chargers again, so they can kind of get that loss back, right? I feel like if they beat the Lions, so that maybe cancels out the Eagles game, right? We figured 1-1 there. They need to get the Jacksonville loss back. Yeah. Is that the Bills game, right?
Bills.
Colts.
Yeah.
Colts, one of those two. To where you get to that, like, okay, now the season's kind of back on track to where, like, preseason, I would have accepted this.
I don't think the Colts count because at the beginning of the season we weren't.
Yeah.
The Colts was
might be the Bills because your Jags loss is the out of nowhere loss. Okay, go get one where you might not be favored.
Well, the Colts is sometimes the out of nowhere loss because it's the Colts, but.
Yeah,
I get your point, and the Colts have just been a much better team, but it's also kind of like the Ravens, where the Ravens have been a much worse team. So the Ravens game you almost have to take back as far as you almost switch the Ravens and Colts this year as far as expectations versus the reality of the season so far. But I get what you're saying as far as where we all thought they were going to be.
I think they'd be fine had they beat Jacksonville, right? You're on a you're 5-2,
right?
5-game win streak. You're like, okay, they're back on schedule, and you would be leading the AFC West already.
You'd be and getting ready for a Commanders game in which it's Monday Night Football, and Jaden Daniels, Adam Schefter is saying today, Jaden Daniels, it's probably not going to play. Said something like it would be a stretch or something along those lines. Essentially, like Adam Schefter is saying, look, he's not going to play with that hamstring injury, even though Dan Quinn said after the game that Jaden Daniels wanted to come back in the game. But wanting to come back in the game is one thing, but trying to look at the full season of Jaden Daniels as your quarterback, and if he's got
stopping the Cowboys.
Yeah, with that hamstring injury, what's the point of putting him in at that point? Yeah. And if you're sort of like, well, are we going to beat the Chiefs? And with our defense being as trash as it is right now, we're going to need Jaden Daniels to be in there and score that much, but that's going to put a lot on the plate with a guy with a bad hamstring when we're seeing what the Chiefs can do. Not that you would throw in the white flag for any game or anything like that, but you got to pick and choose your battles from time to time if you're a coach. And this may be one to where, what's the point of playing Jaden Daniels in there if he's compromised with his hamstring and can't do the Jaden Daniels things that makes him Jaden Daniels when your defense is pretty damn subpar.
It's chess, not checkers. He knows that Marcus Mariota still lives in Chiefs fans.
That's what it. They're already working on that play.
There's still some ghosts from Marcus Mariota. By the way, the first play in the game, I don't know if you guys watched that game.
Played him since, haven't they?
Mariota, probably with the Falcons
right?
or the Raiders.
I don't know.
Yeah, Raiders maybe.
Raiders probably, but still.
I just don't need the Chiefs to sign Darrelle Revis this week. Okay.
Is that who knocked it down?
Yeah.
It wasn't even a bad play by Revis. It was
it's a fluky play like all the others that the quarterbacks score on when they should be turning the ball over against the Chiefs.
I will say Marcus Mariota's first pass was a pick six. I don't know if anyone watched. He played fine after that. First play in the game, he comes in and tries to become. He takes the body of Josh Allen
of the weekend, and I'm counting college and high school games.
Awful.
So wait, I don't have PFF account. Do you guys? I thought I saw Mariota. His was PFF'd higher than Mahomes.
Geno Smith was.
I heard that, and that's why.
By 5 points, I have it pulled up. Yeah.
Do you have what
Let me
Mariota
go
was?
get I'll find it right here.
Oh my God, Geno Smith. I mean,
Marcus
what are we
Mariota
doing at that
plays
point? This
for
point,
this team offense.
I wonder too. Did they negatively grade Mahomes?
No, Marcus Mariota was pretty bad. He got
bad,
a
okay.
37.4 offense and a 30.8
Then
pass.
I didn't see it right.
Yeah. But Geno Smith did.
I wonder, did Mahomes get downgraded for the pass across the middle to Worthy? Are they looking at that saying he should not throw that?
No, probably
he
the
shouldn't
one
throw that.
The two that hit off the hands of the Raiders.
No, I figured that, but I mean that's enough to cancel out everything
The
else.
26 other great plays,
Yeah.
the 25 other great throws.
Because it's
yeah.
a person watching each time, right? And they are
Yes.
applying subjectivity to it, right?
Well,
it's not just this objective algorithm.
Whatever they are applying, when you get the final that Geno Smith has a higher grade than Mahomes, you rip it up and start over.
Yes.
You
They're
rip it up and
applying
start over.
butane to a fire and saying, "Why is it burning?"
Yeah. And Mahomes, like
When your fires, man.
I'm a big fire guy now, just so you know.
the QBR stat, Geno Smith got a 7.9 in QBR, and Mahomes had an 89 point something. It's the highest regular season QBR game for Mahomes since the Chargers on October 22nd.
QBR
of
is the one that
23.
ends at 100, right? Or tops out at 100, yeah.
Yes, and it's adds the rushing part of it, all of those things into it, and it's the highest QBR game in almost 2 years to the day.
So there's QBR and there's quarterback rating.
Yes.
Even though QBR probably stands for quarterback rating.
Why not?
Yes. And they're two separate stats.
No, one's passer rating.
But what are they
but
called?
it's called the
one's just factoring and passing?
Yes, passer rating.
Yeah, QBR is the first
But I
one
love
that's
how
come
they're
out
basically called the same thing.
Right.
This is quarterback rating and this is QBR.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, this incorporates the
I
running
like the
part of
one that
quarterback.
goes into the hundreds, whatever that one is.
158.3.
Yeah, rating, yeah.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts had a perfect quarterback rating. Oh, 100? No, 158.3.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
It's a but. So, but what about college? Oh, that's like 290s. Well, this guy in college had like a 190 rating. Yeah, it's a little bit different grading scale. You know, it's for some
Extra
reason.
credit. He got extra credit.
They use the metric system in college for some reason. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's. I mean, he was brilliant in that game, and the Chiefs' offense has been brilliant in the last 5 weeks, and just playing phenomenal football. And we talked for a good 40 minutes in the first hour, Mick, before we mentioned that. Oh, they shut him out. Oh yeah, the defense also got
like,
shut
where
out.
do you start from
Yeah,
yesterday?
yeah.
I don't know. I can't tell you the last time I've seen back-to-back complete games like this from the Chiefs, because every single game afterward, you hear Mahomes and Reed saying, we're just trying to get all three phases together, right? I remember last year when they beat the Steelers, I'm like, you know what? They finally kind of got all three phases together, but not like this, and not 2 games in a row like this.
What are the three phases?
It's Mahomes and Chris Jones and Butker.
Okay.
Those are the 3 phases.
Those are the 3 phases,
Yes. Good call. That's very good. Well, Butker's back.
I mean,
Andy said that.
Andy's,
he is
trying to
They
motivate him like
he
he's
is
like a
patting him on the-
13-year-old.
Okay,
patting him on
Mick,
the head a
I asked
lot.
Jason this. They had a chance for a 55-yarder with 14 minutes and 23 seconds left in the fourth quarter. It's 31-0.
Yeah.
55-yarder.
Yeah.
Why do you think they didn't kick it?
I think there's 2 reasons: sportsmanship and Butker.
That's exactly what I said.
Those are the 2 reasons.
I was
a little bit of both.
Yeah, I just wonder
right?
what was more. Because I'm like, I think at that point, if you kick the field goal, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything rubbing it in. It's a 55-yarder. It's 14 and 23 left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, if it's 31-17 and you have a chance, okay, you can make it a 3-possession game.
Well,
I don't
was-
know. And,
well, 31
that might make it more.
I don't know
like-
what they would do.
Yeah.
I don't know what they would have done there.
31-0. If you kick the field goal, it does make it a 5-possession game.
It does make
then,
it a 5-possession
instead of a
game,
4-possession
yes.
game. Look what the Broncos did.
So I mean, I don't know. That was the one thing I have a question out after. I go, is that they wanted Butker to finish the day perfect?
I think a lot of it had to do that. Yep.
But also, part of me goes, wouldn't that be a good chance for him to go in?
And it's almost like stealing when you're up 10-0 in a baseball game, right? Trying to kick a field goal there. It's like,
field goal indifference.
Yeah,
That's
it
what
is,
they
yeah.
would call it.
But for
you actually
him-
don't get Butker doesn't get credit for that. They were up 31. It's a field goal
Field goal
indifference. It's FGI. We know he made it, but he made it only because the other team
Like,
didn't
don't
care.
count the points. Just don't count the points. We don't want the points. We
Yeah.
don't care about
Yeah.
it. But we just want to see what he does in this
Field goal
distance
indifference. I like the stat.
in a game.
Should be good.
Yes.
Yeah, I think both those things were factoring in there. But he was perfect against Jacksonville, right? But he had the worst mistake of the season. Yeah.
The kickoff. So it hasn't had a perfect
This
game.
was the first perfect game for Butker.
Yeah, and there was no perfect game this year in baseball, so finally got one.
Finally got one.
Maybe we'll get one tonight. I
he's
don't know. It's game
better
7.
than the freaking Giants kicker.
Yeah, it's game 7.
I slightly feel bad for that guy.
Do you?
Giants kicker?
I don't.
Yeah,
of course I do.
His career.
I feel bad that he had to find his way back to New York. He got left there in Denver. I don't feel bad about that.
I wouldn't get on a subway if I were him, but
especially not in Denver.
Yeah, I'd be bad. They don't have them. You'd be in the wrong spot, I think.
Yeah,
They got those underground tunnels though underneath the airport.
Yeah, I hear scary things.
There's
about
lizard
that.
people there.
Yeah, there's crab people. I think.
Yeah, something like that. Crab people.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, that kicker, his career just ended.
Yeah, it did.
And you saw when he missed it, he was just like,
man, I can't even pronounce his last name anyway.
Yeah,
so
I'm glad.
Mathematically,
he's mathematically eliminated.
Yes.
He's like the White Sox. He's mathematically eliminated.
Yeah, his career, because nobody's going to sign him. Like, let's bring that guy in that couldn't make extra points and helped lose the game and field goals up, lose the game.
But here's the deal: this Chiefs offense. Butker's mistakes become less of a big deal, right? They're not as. He's not as important of a piece as he has been the last couple of years if we keep seeing this offense.
We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll see what we learned, what was the funniest, and what was the best from the weekend coming up next. All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy, Mick Schaefer hanging out with us. It's time for a little Learn Funniest Best.
Which, by the way, Learn Funniest Best is presented by Cutwater. Real cocktails, perfectly mixed. Create your ritual before your favorite college football game and every Kansas City football game. I know that Darcy was crushing some Cutwaters this weekend.
Unbelievable.
Right?
So good.
Which flavor did you have? Which kind?
I had the margarita.
Yeah, that's what's in front of me right here. A little 12.5% in a can.
All you need's one or two.
It's all you need. All you need. Mick and I split one, and it was delicious.
That's right, we did.
That was a couple Fridays ago.
It was 2 cups.
Well, thanks for the invite, guys.
2 guys, 2 cups.
2 guys, 2 cups.
Oh, interesting.
Totally normal.
Yeah,
You were
absolutely.
here. You just don't drink. We could have pretended
You also didn't
that it's
ask.
non-alcoholic.
You also didn't
And
ask.
tricked 'em.
So
Yeah,
maybe I was really ready to start my journey of drinking, and I just haven't been invited yet.
It's
so
delicious. So
thanks a lot.
Cutwater, Darcy recommends, and I highly recommend. It's
Okay.
a phenomenal cocktail in a can.
And I would recommend or not, I don't know, I wasn't invited. It's time for a little Learn Funniest Best here on this Monday. What I learned was, like, last week or the week before, we were talking about the Buffalo Bills game where the guy caught the ball from Josh Allen and sucked the ball up his shirt and ran out and left.
I didn't know this either.
I didn't know that they give you a football after they exchange it because the footballs there have the chips in it. I thought you just gave the football back. But they give them a different. I saw the exchange, and I'm like, oh, when did we start doing that?
So do they not use those other footballs that they're just giving to fans?
They probably don't have chips in them, so they probably are cheaper to make. They're probably just normal.
That's what I'm saying. I
Yeah,
mean, so why
assume so.
do
So
they
those are
have
just
them
there
there
for fans?
only for fans?
I would assume so.
Or
Yeah.
Is it the K-ball?
Yeah. Yes.
Or maybe it's even like
Butker's like, whoa, whoa,
It's fine.
it's my ball. It's my ball.
Whoa.
I brought it from home.
Yes, but I had no idea that I just, I get it that the chips are in there, and it really didn't dawn on me when they talk about that. Why can't you just let them have the footballs? I'm like, oh, I guess it is
But
kind
good
of
for the NFL, at
little
least
more
giving
expensive.
exchanging it.
Yeah, right. And that guy gets a lot of pub anyway. On these national televised games and things like that with the visor and the sport coat and
Yeah, I'd
everything.
never
So,
seen that either.
yeah, but yeah, it was really cool. So I learned that in the game there. Now, do they have to go and exchange the one that Rashee Rice punted? Do they find that person, or do they just fine Rashee Rice for that one?
Yeah, that used to be a big old penalty,
I think
too.
I didn't. I thought it was going to be a penalty.
It should have been, right?
Yeah, but it's the Chiefs. It's
I
not gonna
remember
be a
Marcus Peters, it was a
It's not gonna
penalty.
be it's not going to be a penalty for the Chiefs. Come on,
I should have known. Duh.
get with the program.
Yes.
But I do wonder if it's going to be. He gets fined the amount of what it costs for the football.
Rashee, after the game, said, I'm probably not going to be doing that again.
Not going to punt. Although they found out they've got an emergency punter if Ariza goes down. What'd you learn, Sterling?
I learned how to make song remixes.
That's what you
Rice. Rice. Rice.
This is flawless.
Rice.
It sounds just like him.
Seamless.
Yeah. Rice. Pretty good, right, Mick?
I mean,
Sounds
if you
just like
did
him.
it has to be really good. I mean, that was
Sounds
like,
just
could
like
you
him.
tell?
it's like you got, what band was that?
Mark Morrison.
Yeah.
It's like you got Mark Morrison back to re-sing that song.
Yeah,
His whole band.
I
Yeah.
thought so too. I thought it
It's
was
really
a
cool that you-
seamless. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it sounds just like him. It was
Must
really
have
good,
taken
man.
you seconds.
Yeah, at least maybe to at least save it.
Rice.
Rice.
It
Was that the raw? Is that the raw cut?
Rice.
What'd you learn, Mick?
You're gonna sit down here
Oh,
because of
wow.
what you said earlier.
I'm gonna
Ready?
stand up.
No. You're fall down.
Okay.
What's the worst score you've ever seen in a scramble? Golf scramble.
Oh man. 4 people?
Yeah, 4 people.
Oh man. Like even plus 4?
Evens? No, that's I've
Worst
seen
score?
like
who do you play with?
yeah,
Ringers?
exactly. I've seen like
4
high
guys
70s.
in a scramble.
I've seen high 70s before. That was it. Saturday, Sig Up Dad's weekend. Stag Hill golf course. Bogey's your friend. A team came in with a 90.
Oh my god.
Par 72. Let's do some quick math. They didn't fall into one par. A 90. 5 minutes before that, they're they write green if it's over par. They write your score red if it's under. I think there's like 26 teams. There were probably like only 10 teams under par.
Oh my
Not the best golfing fraternity. They wrote an 87. I'm like, whoa, that's not possible. And I was like, I guess if you're 15 over is possible. And then and I was making fun of that team. And then 5 minutes later, I totally forgot about that team because 90 got posted.
That's what happens.
How?
Because they're SIG-Apps. That's why.
It's like you could take 4
college fraternity
really
rivalries.
bad golfers.
Yeah.
And you're going to fall into a par.
Just kidding, everybody.
I mean, there was like some 140-yard par threes, right? Just one of you get on the green, you're going to 2-putt.
With 4 people,
People. And if you're just close to the green, you think somebody's okay. He's going to you can get accidentally pitch one up there, but no, it didn't happen in 18 holes.
Wow. What'd you learn, Michael?
90.
I learned the Raiders ran 30 plays against the Chiefs, which
Yeah.
is the fewest amount of plays run by any single team since 2000.
Mick's thing is more alarming to me.
I heard that too. Well, I was pissed
1978.
because on the broadcast they kept saying it was only 29 plays.
Yeah, I know.
And then the box score came out 30. I'm like, 29 sounds so much better.
Yeah, I know. It's the second fewest plays run in a game since 1978. The Browns ran 28.
Like 99.
99 against Week 1 against Pittsburgh. Yeah. Let's move on to the funniest, Sterling funniest from the weekend.
The hot mics. What have I just said? The rice thing again.
I thought you were gonna. I really did think you were
Just
gonna go.
keep the
My
rice.
funniest from the weekend is the song that I
The
created.
Prab guy deserves a raise as well.
The hot mics, not just in the Chiefs game,
Mm-hmm.
Gideon Patrick, but of Zion Young in the Mizzou game.
He knew
We
what time it
cannot
was.
play this because there are some words
He knew what time it
that
was.
are not suitable. But Zion Young
Yep.
in the coin toss
Oh yeah.
was all about it.
Yeah.
All about it. At
Just
one
say,
point,
just say he was bad about it. You know.
At one point,
Same
he
thing.
said, "On my mama," and that's when you knew.
Yeah.
I think that he's going to have himself a nice OT, and he did.
2 of them.
2 sacks
2
and
OTs, yeah.
He said,
you know, a tackle for loss. I mean,
and you knew what time it was.
he closed that thing out, and also I think kind of funny was Trotter jumping over the running back trying to block him on that final play. If you look at the final play, the running back's trying to block Trotter. Trotter just jumps over him like Saquon Barkley and lands on the quarterback. It was awesome.
But what was the funniest for you, Mick?
The Lane Kiffin telling the ref he was clapping. See that?
So
he called legit timeout.
I know, but
And then
it's so
afterward he
good.
doubles back. He's like, no, I was clapping. I was clapping. Just straight face. And the ref's like, wait, what? And he smiles like, oh, I get it.
So good.
Lane Kiffin's wild. I see him
He is
shirtless
very
so
wild.
many times.
Yeah, he's in good shape too.
Good for him.
He's also now the betting favorite to take over at Florida. What was
Why would you leave Ole Miss?
Because Florida, I don't know. What was the funniest for you from the weekend, Michael?
The Chargers were wearing their disgusting yellow uniforms,
gross.
and
Those
they
were bad.
tweeted out that, the Despicable Me quote, "On our way to steal the moon."
Yeah.
And then after they lost to the Colts posted a picture of Gru looking over the entire, I guess, flock of minions, and they put the Colts logo on Gru, so kind of a way to get back at the Chargers after they killed them.
Yeah, that's and by the way, when I saw that picture, I thought it was like a picture for the Savannah Bananas.
Have you guys seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when Charlie dresses up as the day man in a yellow suit?
Nope.
All yellow suit. That is what the Chargers looked like.
Yeah.
They look like day man, Charlie Day. Yeah.
So I've got two funniest. Sorry, since I'm the last and you guys didn't use any of them. Texas A&M and their social media team, after beating Arkansas, they tweet out a picture with the headline "Went Hog Wild" with the Texas A&M player on a motorcycle as they beat Arkansas and Bobby Petrino. I appreciated that. That was pretty good. And also, since they won, I can say Eli Drinkwitz running off the field after the first overtime thinking the kick was good. And,
I didn't see that.
Fist pumping while he's jogging on the field and look up and go, what? What? It wasn't good? And then having to run back to the sideline when the kick was missed. They won, so I can say that's one of the funniest.
You could see from his angle how you probably thought it was good. It was high enough, far enough, obviously.
He didn't wait for the refs to. He looks at it and then he just ducks his head
It's
and
an amateur
fist
move.
pump.
You look at your kicker and your holder.
Right, yeah.
They're the ones that are going to turn around and celebrate first, long before the ball.
Yeah.
Every kick looks good if it's long enough from the side.
Well,
right?
and I don't
You
know
look at your kicker
what
and your
Meyer
holder.
did. I don't know if Meyer thought it was good. I mean, it was close.
He was leaning. He was like,
He was
say,
leaning.
please go.
He missed it, but it was. It's one of those ones where you wish, I've always said, that the goalposts were higher.
It would have hit on the outside of the goalpost. And
Agreed.
missed.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he made it, but I still wish it was higher.
What was the best for you, Mick?
We have the technology. We have the material.
Yeah, we can rebuild them.
I got two. Shohei. We should all just say Shohei on Friday, which is amazing. And then again, Lane Kiffin. There was a game day sign that said Lane Kiffin poops standing up, and I thought it was hilarious because tired is Lane Kiffin pees sitting down. Wired is Lane Kiffin poops standing up. That's what we graduated to that.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I like that. Best for you, Michael.
I think the Chiefs were up 31 at the time, and they pan over to the sideline, and Pete Carroll just has his hands on his knees looking like an old man just defeated. So that was my best.
Yeah, well, Andy Reid's heart went out to him in that one. My best was after the Game 6 where the Toronto Blue Jays win the game, the on-field interview with FS1 that Vlad Guerrero was being interviewed, and actually it was with the Blue Jays broadcast team, I believe, because Dan Schulman was doing it, and he said, it's Alex Frazeo. He said, our Megalodon, Mick, if you know what that is, says a handheld camera on the field, Megalodon operator, and the interview is of Vlad Guerrero, and the sideline reporter asks him, are you ready for this? And he gets ready to answer, and the crowd goes crazy, and it zooms in on Vladdy. And then it starts circling. He starts walking around Vladdy, showing the background of the fans cheering while Vladdy is staring up at him. And then he rounds him twice, and right as he's done circling him, Vladdy gets ready to start talking, and he zooms into Vladdy. He says, I was born ready, and I'm born ready to get this done for this city. It was phenomenal camera work. What was the best for you,
Yeah, that
Sterling?
was one of the coolest camera work you're going to see.
Yeah, it's all over Twitter if you haven't seen it, so check that out.
Obviously Chiefs, but I went to the KC Mavs hockey home opener, and
nice.
was awesome. It was electric. They won 3-2. It was fun. There were just some mini fights happening all the time, and it was high paced, and yeah, it was cool. If you've not been to a KC Mavericks hockey game, I recommend it. It was an absolute blast. And parking, almost the best I want to say for parking. However they have the parking set up, the best parking I've ever been to for an event that has that many people. Every single person understood how to get in and out, and no one stopped. Like, it was, you just zippered the entire way. Incredible. Shout out to the parking attendants there, because that was, if Chiefs games were like that, you would save an hour on time.
Shout out to Johnny's Tavern. 31% off tonight. Dine-in only. Specialty pizzas. 31% off at the Johnny's Tavern's 10 locations, including Lawrence and Topeka. Chiefs score 31 points. You save on specialty large pizzas. Dine-in only at Johnny's Tavern. 31% off your pizza. 4 consecutive games, you've received at least 28% off. And I don't think it's stopping anytime soon. We continue. More Zone next.
Rice.
We continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. You guys following the story in San Francisco with the Giants manager, the favorite to land the San Francisco Giants managerial job is Tony Vitello from Tennessee.
Oh, nice. Wow.
Yes, former Missouri Tiger,
Missouri
should
Tiger.
have been Missouri Tiger head
Lane
coach.
Kiffin.
Actually, yes, former Tennessee coach, Lane Kiffin. But he would be, and all the reporting is like, he's the leader. He's the odds-on favorite. Like, it's almost like the reporting out there is, I'm not saying he's getting the job because I can't say he's getting the job, but I feel like he's going to get the job. It'd be the first ever coach to go straight from college to Major League Baseball with no Major League Baseball coaching experience.
It's like the players. There's only a few players that go straight from college to major leagues.
That's right. Although San Francisco's like, I feel like Steve Beazer would be a better hire here.
Yeah.
Just as Missouri did a number of years ago. I joke, I kid, and I say that out of gallows humor. Because it still hurts that they did not hire Vitello, and then he went on to do his thing at Tennessee.
I think Missouri baseball's been good, huh?
They've been great. They've been really, really good. And luckily, Max Scherzer has invested all of that money into the Missouri program if they hired Tony Vitello. And they didn't, and so Max still gave all that money. Oh, wait, no, he didn't.
So he did give money?
No, he didn't. No, I was being a total smartass.
Yeah, all these inside jokes about
my bad.
Missouri baseball are going to
tough.
stay inside.
Yeah, that's true. It's like it's freezing outside right now. They're just going to stay inside our happy little group here. But
speaking of inside, whoever is going to win between Vandy and Missouri is going to have the inside track to the college football playoffs.
That is an inside track. Yeah, that's an inside joke. Nope, it's not.
It's not.
Game day is going to be in Nashville.
They're going to be in Nashville.
You're going to be at a birthday party or something.
You got a bros kind of golf bourbon weekend.
Oh no, you're going to be at the Home Show on Saturday.
I'll be at the Home Show.
You'll be at the Home Show.
And then after the Home Show, the Holmes Show. Will be the Home Show, and then afterwards I'm going to Lamar, Missouri to ride four-wheelers for a friend's birthday. Yeah, and probably build a fire. It's gonna be sick.
Oh man, you're one of the best I know at building fires.
No, I'm really bad. But I'm
good.
big fire guy
sick,
now.
Man,
so good at building fires,
dude.
Man.
There's just human nature where fire becomes awesome. I'm there.
You've discovered it for all of us.
Sterling's dream is to be on Naked and Afraid.
Oh.
Just so he can go tarps off.
I'd go tarps off so
no,
good.
Sterling, everything is off.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
sure?
in.
I just wanted to go tarps off. That's the entire thing.
I'll go pantaloons off,
Can I
too.
build a fire?